There we are. How's everyone doing today? My name's Scott. This is Kelsey, and you're watching Piercing with Scott, and we're doing a live chat today. We're answering all your piercing questions. Well, as many as we can get in. So, how's your day going, Kelsey?
It's a great day.
Yeah?
Cannot complain.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a good day.
Something's different here. What's different here?
Nova pierced my gestrum.
That's
Yes,
right.
I did. My first ever vertical lip piercing. I'm pretty stoked.
He did great.
Looks beautiful.
I
Thank
love
you
it.
for
I'm
trusting
obsessed.
me.
Well, yes. So, well, that's exciting. That's something new. Today, like I said, we're taking your questions here. So if you have piercing questions, give us a nice, thorough question. And the voice you're hearing in the background is the voice of Nova. So everyone say hi to
The
Nova.
voice from beyond.
The voice will be on.
The voice from beyond.
Hi, everybody. We've got a couple friends already. Brick says, hey. Penelope said, yo. Jacob said, yo. How's it going?
What's happening, everyone?
How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. You know what? It's that time already. We start every day with a cheers. So cheers
do.
to you, Kelsey. Cheers
Rivals.
to Nova.
Cheers.
And
Coffee rivals.
Coffee rivals, yeah. And cheers to anyone who's drinking anything watching the show here. Whether you're drinking that water, coffee, beer, it don't matter. Cheers to you.
Oh, yeah. Stay hydrated, though.
It's coffee-flavored water, so it's mostly water. So
There you go.
good.
Isn't
Yeah.
all coffee just coffee-flavored water?
Bean water.
Yeah.
You're ruining it for me,
Because
dude.
we don't actually drink the bean or tea. It's just yeah. It's
Well, you're
like-
not chewing up the little tiny grains that's inside there. So, I mean, you are drinking it.
It's true. It's true. We got a bunch of people in here saying hi. Flumpus Dumpus. I love the name you guys have. That's my favorite.
Never seems to fail. The names are my favorite part. They really are.
Eric Isaacson says, hey, guys.
What's up, Eric?
Our
Yo.
friend Monica said, hey, guys. Cheers. How's it going?
Cheers.
Cheers. Winnie Darks has a question. She wanted to get an orbital around her industrial on the flat.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Does it need to be pierced with a ring?
I say yes. It's the especially cartilage piercings. The jewelry can migrate. It's going to be kind of tough to heal up. Hopefully, your industrial's completely healed up. And Nova, do you want to try to pull a picture of this up on the Google?
Yeah, for sure.
This is a really cool thing. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, we saw quite a bit more of this. And I haven't done one of these in a long, long time. These look super, super rad. You have your normal industrial bar, and then you have a vertical orbital kind of encompassing going around the industrial as well. I started the day early with my hiccups.
I'm having some trouble finding pictures.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
would you phrase it? Like orbital around industrial?
Yeah. An orbital and round industrial. We'll see if we can find something. But anyways, it's one of those things where you're taking two different things, you're mixing media, you're combining two different things to create one cool concept. So it's an orbital around an industrial. Definitely make sure your industrial's fully healed. Make sure you do a large enough ring to go around it. Because there will be more swelling. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what I'm talking about. So, yeah, not an easy thing to do. But it's, the big picture there. You see how, God, that one looks fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a fully healed orbital and industrial. So good job, Gina, whoever, Modern Body Artist.
Yes.
Great job. That's fantastic. So, yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
I've actually never seen that before. So
Really?
yeah, really.
Kelsey wants to do one. Come in. Have Kelsey do it.
Yeah. Challenge
Yes.
accepted.
Yes.
Please.
I'm still scared of orbitals.
Me too. I've done
I
quite a
love doing
few, and eventually they do heal, but they are one of the bigger pains in the butts when it comes to piercings.
I think the biggest curse about an orbital is people pierce with too small of rings, and you have to have a big ring. Too small of a ring gets too much swelling, and I've been guilty of it in the past too. So,
I've seen different schools of thought on like whether or not you should start orbitals with rings.
Yeah, Scott and I
or
are
pierce them
complete
separately.
opposites on that.
I-
Scott
I-
likes to pierce with rings. I like to pierce separately, then eventually put a ring in. It just takes less
Does it-
healing, in my opinion.
Does
But
it depend on the piercing or like because I see I feel like I understand the validity of both of them. Like you pierce it with a ring because that's how you want it to heal. But also they're more difficult to heal. So can you adjust it the same way you would adjust like a nostril piercing, for example, from a straight piece to to a curved piece. I feel like I see the merit in both.
In my opinion, the only way it could really work is if you did the bars, is if you put a circular barbell in there, because a circular barbell you can adjust, open or close accordingly. But the thing is as soon as you put anything with a stud in there, the piercing can migrate, the angles can change, it can drift, and if it drifts just far enough, that half of a millimeter, it could be enough pressure to cause a constant bump, and you never be able to get rid of it. So it's a difficult one to heal. So that's why I say start with it, so you heal with the ring in the proper spot, and it kind of forces things to happen that way. That's the reason why I say people have done it without, but there's a chance it could migrate where you can't put that ring in, and then you're dealing with a year-long healing process and not have the ultimate orbital that you want. So that's why.
I imagine like lobes are more forgiving.
Yeah,
also.
so I was going to say I have had way better luck piercing lobes individually, letting those heal, and then fitting it properly with the proper size ring. But with anything cartilage, so like helix orbitals, anything like that, even conch orbitals, I've started with rings. They were super problematic. They developed, that piercing bump and everything, super aggravated, agitated. I mean, 9 times out of 10 is because the person is sleeping on them, and that is what causes these problems. So if you are going to get an orbital piercing, I recommend a side that you do not sleep on, or won't sleep on. But yeah, then once switching to posts or just something a little bit larger in diameter has definitely helped a lot with healing the cartilage orbitals to then fit to a more snug ring.
I wonder if you were to do 2 separate ones, if you wanted to wear a 16 gauge orbital, maybe pierce it at a 12 gauge stud. So if it does migrate, it doesn't matter.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really interesting to think of, actually. Yeah, like piercing at a larger size. And
then heal it, and then it doesn't matter how much
literally
the
have
ring
wiggle
pulls.
room.
Exactly.
I want to try this now. I want to try
Good
it.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody's got brains today.
Experimentation. But yeah, it reminds me of an industrial, which I know you guys also have like slightly different opinions on. I was taught that like if you put 2 separate pieces of jewelry in an industrial, like chances are it's going to have issues. But I know Kelsey, you've seen otherwise.
So it depends on how off the angles are. So industrials, the angles matching on an industrial piercing are so crucial to the healing process of this piercing. If they don't match at least enough, even if they're off slightly like this, or even like this a tiny bit. So industrial piercings, they go through, wow, I'm backwards.
It's hard, isn't it?
Woo, where am I? Right here, sorry. So it goes from here to here, right?
And this angle needs to be perfectly level with each other.
Where am I? Okay.
Let me help you out.
Yes, please. I'm blind.
You want the industrial piercing to look like this.
Exactly.
Okay?
Sit like that.
Now, if you did a piercing like this, and over time that piercing migrated to here, and you try to put it in there, you're twisting your ear. And that's going to create that huge bump right where I'm twisting it. So that's why it needs to heal at that angle. Now, if you put a ring in there, sometimes they shift. They're going to migrate this forward, back, up, down. And that's what we're talking about. So that's why it's best to have the initial bar in there right away.
So if the angles are like they match perfectly just straight like this, healing with one piece of jewelry and the 2 separate piercings is going to be perfectly fine. Now, if they're off slightly and you're having issues and you're developing a bunch of bumpage and everything around both like entrance and exit of the piercing sites, I will sometimes put short barbells in each one so that they can heal that individually and then put something just the solid piece in. But if the angles are so far off or there's just no chance of saving it, then I'll have them retire it and just re-pierce. So.
Or if you don't want to retire it, put 2 short bars in there or 2 rings and connect it with a chain. That's a
That's
cool
what I
another
have
option.
because my industrial personally was it was really high up. So now I have the little chain.
I love chained industrials. I actually think they look cooler than industrials. Winnie also asked, as a rebuttal, or not a rebuttal, but she said she needed to wait a little longer for an industrial to heal. It still gets a little annoyed. That is definitely something you want the industrial to be super well healed on. She asked, would a horseshoe suffice? So I think she's asking about a circular barbell. I would say no, right?
I would stick to a straight bar if you possibly can. And something else.
I think she means for the orbital.
Oh, for an orbital?
Yeah.
I prefer piercing orbitals with circular barbells.
Really?
Yes,
you
I do.
can adjust them.
You
So
can
if
open
they're
it a little-
swelling
Oh, yeah.
or
Exactly.
developing the bumps, you can open
Start
it
getting-
slightly.
Just open it that little bit, and it's enough to allow it to breathe. And then when you're healed up, we can shrink it back down if it needed to be adjusted to that level. So you can definitely play around with circular barbells, and they're a lot easier to get in and a lot less painful to get into.
Awesome.
Yep.
Tollefson asked, "Hey, would you ever want to go be a guest piercer in Norway? Would love to be pierced by you."
Oh,
That'd be rad.
That would be
super
so
fun.
cool.
I would love
I would
to.
go just to go.
Norway seems rad.
I would consider it. I just my passport's coming in here soon, but yeah, I would totally consider doing a guest spot in Norway. That sounds amazing.
Yes, it does.
I have one major regret in this industry is back in the day I had an opportunity to go to New Zealand for several months and like see the whole land, travel up and down, spend a month, pay for the whole trip, and things just kind of went array and just I never did it. And it's like, why didn't I do that?
Dang.
You know, when you have opportunities like that, you got to jump on these things.
Yeah, sometimes you
people.
just gotta
It's
take
so
it.
important to take those opportunities. And yeah, if there's an opportunity for me to go pierce in Norway for a guest spot, hell yeah.
Heck yeah. I'm gonna try with this name. Boku no Nico.
That's why I'm so
said-
glad I don't have your part.
That's all right. I feel like I do okay.
You do
but-
really,
You do great.
really good.
Hey Scott, awesome content. I love it. My eyebrow piercing keeps getting irritated. I've not noticed any migration or rejection, and it's been in since November last year. Could it be that I'm just constantly laying on it at night or bump it with my hands at night, or could there be other causes? I'm also thinking,
Yes.
okay, there are two follow-ups, but, well, not follow-ups, but they said that they're also thinking about getting a labret or vertical labret after they have surgery at the end of the year. And that it's their fourth piercing. First one was last summer. Congrats.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, eyebrows are temperamental. I mean, if you're wearing headbands, hair products getting in there, if you're sleeping on it every night, if the jewelry's just too long or too short, that's also an issue. So there's a lot of variables. Another variable, which seems kind of weird to say, but some people just over clean their piercings. You know, if you're trying too hard, you're cleaning it 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're just upsetting it and you're not allowing it to heal. So if you don't really have a lot of crusties on at this point, I would say try the lesser approach. You know, less cleaning. If you get crusties, yeah, get the crusties off there, but try to leave it be. And just make sure that jewelry's the right size. Also a possibility, if you have steel in there and you have a nickel allergy, maybe switch to titanium. I really, really believe that titanium is the far superior metal to heal piercings with. So sometimes it's a quick little change. Kelsey, you got any 2 cents on that one?
Nope, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
For sure. I would also generally ask what you're doing for aftercare.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
Thanks,
if you're
Phil.
using
Yeah.
any sort of antibacterial soaps, you know, any soap can be a little too harsh for a body piercing. So if you're not just washing your face like normal and then rinsing with a sterile saline solution, you could just be irritating it.
Yeah.
Yep. So be careful. And yeah, librets and vertical librets are both pretty rad.
Yeah.
They
Wait
heal
till-
pretty quick.
Wait till after your surgery. You're absolutely right on that one. You don't want to get pierced and then have to put a retainer in right away during the healing process. You're just asking for more problems. And your body needs to be healing up whatever you're trying to heal from that surgery. So make sure you go into there with a good, strong immune system. I'm like making a lot of fists today. I don't know what it's all about, but yeah.
There you go. Let's get a double fist for the thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. Pirelli hopped in and said the double helix Kelsey did on me is healing nicely. Had some issues a
man.
few weeks ago when it switched to rings, but it's healing nicely now, which is definitely not
Cool.
uncommon.
Yep.
Yep, that's always why, especially for helix piercings, nostril piercings, we're very tough about making sure that it is totally healed before putting in.
It's a straight piercing, and then you're putting a curve in there, so there's going to be a little bit of adjustment towards the
Little
body
bit of an
goes,
adjustment.
they'll freak out, and then you're back to normal.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Normally.
Yes. Awesome.
Immortala says greetings to the piercing community. Hope you're all doing well.
Hope you're doing well,
Fantastic.
too. Fantastic name, by the way.
Yes.
Immortella.
I love it.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Penelope Martin said, I really want to get snake bites, and I've heard that they can cause tooth and gum damage. I'm sorry, gum and tooth damage. Though all oral piercings do. She said, is there any way to avoid that damage?
Yes, by making sure that you are downsizing your piercings at the proper times. That is probably the most important part of that, to not deal with any sort of gum and tooth issues when it comes to the piercing. So, yeah, downsize.
I don't know about the gums, but if you just remove all your teeth, you won't have any chance of tooth damage.
That is true.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. The thing is, with any oral piercing, except for like gestrums or vertical labret piercings, any metal that's inside the mouth, if the bead came undone, it could get loose and you could bite down and damage your teeth. That's always a possibility with any sort of oral piercing. But if you have the right jewelry in there, you're checking your beads occasionally, it's not a crazy high risk, but it's a possibility. So you got to check your beads if that's the case.
Fun fact, the first oral piercing that I ever changed as an apprentice was on someone with no teeth.
Nice.
I don't know if I've ever told it on the podcast, but it was, or maybe it was a piercing. I think it might have been a piercing.
I think it was a piercing.
Yeah, because I was going to say like, oh, you need to make sure to downsize so you don't accidentally chip your.
Oh no! Chip your tongue.
I was like, yeah, you just need to downsize. Just trust me, it'll be better.
No sucking those teeth.
No. From XO Bedbug, this is an interesting question.
Okay.
My friend got a vibrating tongue ring and it sounds sick. Thoughts on that? ? I'm scared that the vibrating could mess up my tongue.
Yeah, no, hate them. I just don't feel like that would be comfortable. And on top of that, putting something battery operated in your mouth like that is probably not
A good idea.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't have any references, but I do remember hearing a couple stories of acid burns in people's mouth back in the 90s. The vibrating tongue rings were the big thing. Yeah, you're going to chip your teeth, but people aren't good about changing their jewelry. And if you leave something like that in there, you are going to do some damage. Yeah.
I don't like them.
What would happen if you swallowed that?
Nothing good. It'd probably be would probably be a
Yeah,
hospital
those are
trip.
just dangerous. Those are just dangerous. Please
that
don't.
could be seriously.
Because it's a I mean, there's a
There's
battery.
a
battery in
Yeah.
So no, don't do it. Please.
I never even thought about that. I just heard about them breaking open and then that.
Or the
way
ones that
acid
have
burns.
the little glow sticks in them.
I don't think those are toxic though.
No, I mean, yeah, I know that like most of those are like a non-toxic, but imagine if that broke because like the little light stick, it's a little tube of glass. So I feel like if that broke open, you would have like little tiny glass pieces in there. I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Or talking and then you bite down on it. No.
Yeah, bad
God.
sign.
So, okay, I got a little story.
Don't do it.
I got a story.
Scott's got a
So
story.
I used to work at Cub Scout camp, and I used to talk to the leaders all the time in the back behind the schley, because like all the 4th and 5th graders are doing their thing, and I was talking to the leaders, and the one guy's like, yeah, I used to torture these kids back then when I came here, because I used to work for an Army surplus store, and I'd bring a case of those glow sticks, and I'd just cut all the tops off and pour them over my whole body, and I'd moan as I walked through the woods.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
So this glowing man walking through the woods, and these
glowing
kids
zombie.
in a tent, first time away from home. Those poor kids.
Oh, poor
kids.
baby.
That dude probably
That's
died.
funny.
My son would have been terrified.
That dude probably died of radiation poisoning, but
Right.
I'm glad that he had a good time.
Or he's still glowing. I don't know.
Toxic, so that's why I said that they're probably non-toxic. But yeah, you work
Very
in an Army
interesting.
surplus store. Can you imagine just dumping all that crap all over you?
No.
There's no showers up
I was
there
just
either.
going to say, yeah, I can't imagine getting it off.
Oh,
That's the worst part.
Nope.
jump in the lake, kill all the fish.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Dominique. Hello, all. Hope we're doing well. I have a bridge piercing that I've been healing for months. I seem to have a granuloma that switches from side to side. Sounds like an irritation bump.
Yep.
It's clean and I don't touch. Any tips would greatly be appreciated.
How old is it?
A couple months.
I'm sorry. It just says for months now.
For months.
And what is it? I'm sorry.
A bridge. Either downsize or get the right size jewelry.
Or they could have pierced you a little bit deep and you may not have the proper anatomy for it. So it's now migrating to sit somewhere comfortable, developing those bumps.
Bone is pushing it up.
Yeah.
So a couple questions. Do you know what your jewelry is made of? What kind of aftercare are you doing? And
Do you wear glasses that rest on it?
Do you wear makeup on a daily basis? Makeup is a body, like a facial piercing's number one worst enemy, in my opinion. I feel like that's why people have issues with their piercings constantly, because they are always putting makeup in their piercings and then just cleaning the jewelry off. I recommend the little circle Band-Aids, popping those on your piercings, doing your makeup, and then taking the Band-Aids off and blending around.
Ooh,
but
that's
not
a good
putting-
Good idea.
Yeah. So
Okay.
at any time I've ever had anybody come in with like bridge, eyebrow, and nostril piercings, and then they come in and I can
Nostrils
see that they
especially.
have makeup on those bumps. I'm like, that's the problem right there.
Yep. I see it on nostrils, I feel
All
like,
the time,
especially. Yeah.
constantly.
But yeah, also like you mentioned, Kelsey, not everybody has the anatomy for a bridge piercing.
Correct.
So that would be another question.
And the type of jewelry, like some people like to put curved barbells in there. I'm not sure why. That just causes way more irritation. That needs to be a straight barbell as well. I've also find a lot of bumps when you pierce too thin on this one. There is a little bit of movement when you open and close your eyes. So I think 16 gauge is too thin. I would do a minimum of a 14 gauge. And I find that even 12 gauge heal even better yet. So
We did get a response. Dominique said maybe 5 months, titanium, no makeup, saline once a day. Haven't noticed any migration.
okay.
So
Okay.
Well, good. My thing, maybe downsize. If the bar is too long and it's wait till the bump goes down and then get the right size bar, and that could help out.
yep. Also, bridges are just tough. You might just have
Yes.
irritation
Took the words
bumps,
out of my mouth.
and yeah, they're tough. I got really lucky with mine, but typically they are tough piercings to heal.
About 6
So-
months to a year for the average person.
So give it some time.
If you were to look closer at my bridge, you're going to see it's like Swiss cheese up there. I've had a lot of issues in the past. So,
Lots of
Yeah.
bridge piercings.
yep.
I'm ready to put a ring in mine.
That's one of the issues I had.
Don't tell me that.
Do a D ring. It would probably work out.
That's the thing is I didn't wear a D ring where it wasn't straight. I put two rings. I had a double bridge, and I wore two circular barbells, a big one and a small one and a big one. It looked so cool, but they rejected right out. Yeah.
I really want a ring from
Interstellar?
Interstellar. Yeah.
Yep.
Look like a fantasy novel.
They look incredible. I just can't imagine getting it in, and that'd be my biggest concern is the jewelry going in because that hard bend from like a D ring.
We gonna try. We gonna try
Give
it.
it a shot.
Chip Douglas.
What's up, Mr. Chip?
Sorry, I skipped. Winnie said, "Oh, if you come to the UK, give me a shout. I'll have a piercing or two from you." So there we go. UK, Norway. Sounds like we're organizing a Euro
Trip.
tour.
Shop traveling trips.
That would be awesome.
I'm so down.
What's the most central country in the EU? Well, I guess the UK is not in the EU anymore, so we have to get UK and then the EU. Cool.
It's small enough where if I did something like that, I would do like a little tour where I'd probably go
Yeah.
up there for a couple weeks and like spend
Yeah.
maybe a month.
Oh, that'd be
weekend
rad.
in
You can
a couple
take
different
like
countries.
You can
Let's
take
go.
like an hour, 2-hour train ride to get to like a different country in Europe. It's crazy.
It's so bizarre being in America here because it just I don't know. It feels like everything's this size and don't realize how big we are.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Chip Douglas says, "Hey y'all, what are your guys' opinion on surface bars versus dermal anchors or surface anchors for third eye piercings? Success, longevity, rejection." We've literally been talking about this recently.
Kelsey, do you want to do this one or should I?
Personally, I love microdermals in the third eye piercing. I personally have had luck with these more than I have surface bars. So surface bars, I have had done twice in the past. Once was a little bit higher up here, and then the second time I had it a little bit lower because I have a little bit more tissue down here. But they started to reject almost immediately. Within the first 3 to 6 months, I've had to take each of them out. That was with even bending jewelry to go with the shape of my forehead and everything. But the microdermals I've had done, this is now the second time I had one right here, but it was just constantly irritated. But I think it's because I have some sort of a vein or a nerve or something there. So removed that, had it done higher, had that one for about 6 years. And then last year, I had caught it on a towel. It was irritated. And then my daughter grabbed it. So then I was like, screw it, I'm going to take it out. And I've had this one done for about 6 months now. And it's super flush.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nova just changed the top on it recently. It's perfect.
Beautiful top.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful top.
It's an alchemy piece.
You know, the thing is like with surface bars, if you can get it to heal, I think it's going to be more permanent, but the chance of you getting it to heal is much lower than the dermal anchor, which generally isn't a forever piercing. Most surface piercings aren't either, but I don't know. It goes back and forth.
Yeah,
And
it
depends
is.
on the look.
It's hit or miss. It depends on the person. I mean, not necessarily on the person, but I feel it depends on, your tissue and anatomy and everything. If you've got enough tissue there. I mean, I've got a pretty flat forehead.
I've got
and-
some meat on my forehead. I could do it.
You could do
Totally.
so many. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could probably heal that up.
It'd probably last forever.
Yeah, I don't have much tissue on my forehead either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really depends, but there are benefits and what's the opposite of a benefit? There are pros and cons.
There you
to
go.
both.
Yeah, I have only ever known one person, and it was my friend Coley, and he healed a surface bar, but every so often would have to come in and get a shorter surface bar put in.
Weird.
Because but he had it for well over, but even then, like, I can't even say that was fully healed, because it just over time was just slowly rejecting it. I think we got down to like maybe a 3/8.
Okay.
Started him off with a
Dang.
7/6, like a 7/7. Started him off
inch.
with about a 1/2 inch, then 7/16, and then went all the way down to a 3/8. But even then, had some room. We probably could have put a 5/16 in, but
It was just going to keep going.
it was just going to keep going and going.
Scar.
Yeah, exactly. But surface bars in the forehead, just I've never seen one fully healed. Never, not personally, like in person.
I think Luis Garcia has had a lot of good luck, and he's also had a lot of piercers get that done, because I know a lot of piercers seek him out for that specific piercing.
It
And
could
every
be
time
the
I
way
watch
he
him
does
do
it.
one, it's just like it's in there. It just looks in there, and I don't know. He's got skills.
He's got skills. It
can't
could be
done.
just the way that he does it. I don't know if he does like the punching and then tapering, or if he pierces with a needle. What does he
I
do?
can't remember. I thought it was a needle, but
Because I know that
He
the
might-
punch and taper method lasts a lot longer, but then the piercing method is the one where it's like
I want to say he uses
Starts
O
rejecting.
needles. I know he has some
needles.
YouTube videos, because punching isn't legal in Pennsylvania.
no, it's not legal really anywhere. I think in the
yeah.
U.S. if you don't have like a
License.
licensing for it. Hmm.
But,
That's why I think microdermals are banned right now, because the punching.
Yep.
but I mean, a lot of people use needles on those.
Exactly.
I think
True.
it's because they have to be a lot of times cut out, or they get buried inside the skin, and the hospital's sick of them. I think that's why they're banned.
I feel like that's something we should ask.
I was going
Did
to
you
say
go
we're
to
gonna
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. You
we're
should
gonna
ask.
find out.
I would find out, just so we have like a proper answer to give to our clients, because I don't know what
If I
to
have
tell
enough
people.
time.
Yeah.
Yep. Just for some context, everybody, we're going to be going to the annual, or I don't know if it's annual, but there is a Board of Health
Duke's up.
meeting around
Yeah.
body art specifically, and we have some gripes.
Yes,
Hopefully
we
put a stop
do.
to a lot of BS and
Yes.
get some answers for other BS.
Now, the part I'm curious about is, like, why are they having this meeting? Is this just an annual meeting, or are they trying to sneak in some new rules and laws and like, oh, that way, if you're there, you can say something? They're always so sneaky about it. I'm not a real big fan of the way they do it.
Yes, indeed.
My biggest gripe is there's no enforcement.
No
They make all
enforcement.
these laws, and people are just allowing everything to happen. We've called and complained about certain people piercing out of the garages, and they said, sorry, it's out of our jurisdiction.
Yep. And my biggest thing is PMU artists, permanent makeup artists, because they have the same licensing as us, are buying piercing stuff, and now they're teaching classes out of like their permanent makeup studios, teaching people how to pierce when they themselves do not know how to pierce. And so we get a lot of botched work in by these people. And
In the full 6 months?
they don't do a 6-month course. It's literally like a week course. It's like a 72-hour course in like the matter of like a week or something like that. There's a lot of different places out here, and then they give you a certificate of completion. It's not even like a body art card permit thing, like the apprentice paper. It's not like that at all. So you're literally paying $3,200 to take this class. And I've messaged so many people that I've seen taking these classes, like, you need to quit right now. Like, that's not actual like piercing school. Like, it's crazy. But I just don't waste my
Sad.
time anymore. I really want them to switch licensing if possible. But
We got to keep fighting the fight.
Yeah.
You got to make sure safety first. And
exactly.
It's true.
That's my biggest thing is I've seen
So
so
frustrating.
many bad things done, and I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, if people could see what we see, they would understand why we're so
Adamant.
adamant, yeah, about this, because we've seen some horror, and you both have been piercing way longer than me, so I'm sure you have seen some tragedies.
It's just frustrating.
30 years, and I've been in so many states because I used to pierce so many different conventions and whatnot, and this is hands down the worst I have ever seen is in Las Vegas. Some of the dirtiest, scummiest, unethical piercings I've ever seen in my life. Hands down, and it's just...
I believe it.
It's unacceptable.
Yep.
Do something about it.
Yep.
We're paying for our license, and you're allowing other people to pierce out of the garage without a license? It's not real fair.
Because it's out of their jurisdiction is how they put it. We've called and reported. We've had other like friends of ours who own studios call and report. Our friend Kala, there's a piercer that just moved here from LA, something the Impaler or whatever. Terrible.
Right out of
Sorry.
the garage.
But he's piercing right in his garage, which is literally right outside of Kala's shop. And it's awful. He calls on him all the time.
Yep.
And
From our understanding, the health department's stance on it is, well, they don't have a business license, so it's out of our
their
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So then why should I get a business license and pay for it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I don't have a license, you can't inspect me.
Right.
They're going to hear from us tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. Yes,
We're going
indeed.
to rip him a new one. Hopefully.
Yes. Somebody in Sloth 7, though, says, my daughter and I will be seeing Scott on the 29th of June. She wants her septum done for her 17th birthday.
Ooh.
And I'm still unsure what I want.
That's going to be rad.
That'd be
well,
pretty
it's
gonna
rad,
be a
yes.
good day.
Get your septum with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. A month from today, exactly.
Cool,
Nice.
cool. Make sure you book a couple days in advance to make sure you get the time you want. We do book out kind of quick.
Yes, we do. Sarah Stahlberg says, hello from South Africa. Love your content.
South
Awesome.
Africa.
Hey.
All right.
Awesome. Thank
Cool.
you.
Welcome in. Thanks for being here.
Luna de Blue says, how common are double vertical labret piercings? So I'm not sure if they mean like double in one spot or
That's what I'm guessing. Not very common. Not very common at all. I've done a couple in my career. Whereas two vertical librets right in the front center, they look phenomenal. And you know what? I don't even think they have a name. That's so weird because every paired piercing has a name, but I don't know if there's a name for a double vertical libret.
No. Like one of those random names. Like
Yeah.
Dinosaur bites.
Yeah. Or a radical piercing.
Radical piercing.
I want to get a radical piercing. Cool.
buck tooth
Sweet.
bites?
Let's do it.
I don't know. What are
The
like
buck tooth
rabbit
bites?
bites? I guess is what
Rabbit
it's
bites.
called.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I know that the two labret piercings down here, those are dolphin bites.
Dolphin bites are straight in.
Yeah, straight
But
in.
Vertical would be
But
different.
vertical would be-
But if you were to say rabbit bites, I would think two vertical upper librets.
okay.
Two vertical gestrums would be rabbit
That would be
bites.
cute.
Yeah, that's what I thought we
Yeah.
were talking about.
I was talking lower lip. So lower lip would be mole bites. Do moles have? No. Who has big bottom teeth?
Walrus bites.
Keep coming up with
No more
animal
names.
stuff. Yeah.
Somebody in Sloth 7 says, I got my septum done in October, Scott.
Nice.
So there you go.
Well, dang.
So yeah, they said they were coming in with their daughter to do her septum.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time. Let's see. Penelope Martin says, thank you in response to
Yeah, you're
what we
very,
said
very
earlier.
welcome.
Monica said, I love watching your Q&A, guys. It's the best time for me to spend. I appreciate
Awesome.
that so much.
Thanks for playing with us.
It's amazing that so many people want to watch this show. I mean, we really have fun doing this, and maybe that just kind of
Yeah.
it just goes right through it.
I gotta say, it's like
hope
the
so.
highlight of my month when I know that I'm gonna be on like, next Wednesday.
So fun.
You know, it's like I go through a lot of YouTube channels, and like there's so much negative and stuff that just gets you around, and it's like you got to have some positive things.
The internet is full of negative stuff. I've decided to take a step back from a lot of it just because
Too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So
Yes.
I'm glad that we can spread some
Spreading
positivity
and
some
love and peace.
love. Yes.
peace and love, everybody.
We try.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Pirelli asks, hey Nova, how goes your journey into piercing again? It has been awesome, truly. We have had so many clients reach out to have me pierce them. Pretty much every piercing, I will say every piercing that I've done has gone well.
No one's died yet.
No one's died yet, yeah. There's normally like a 60-ish% survival rate when you get pierced by me.
We're bumping up
By
that
the
percentage
Bumping
quite
it
a
up to,
bit.
like,
though. I'm
70.
watching, so we're keeping it up there.
Yeah, we are. But no, it's been awesome. I have almost a full day booked on Friday already.
Excited about
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really
Dude,
excited.
yes.
I'm a little nervous about it. It'll be the most I've done in a day in a long time.
Nice.
So I'm a little nervous about that, but
You got this.
They're spaced out enough that I should be able to handle it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm really
I got
stoked.
you back, dude. I got you back.
And yeah, I and like I say, the whole time I have felt super at peace and at ease while doing these, even though I am a little nervous, just by having Scott and Kelsey in the room guiding me. So it's been great.
Cool.
We're on your side, man. You know, for those of you who don't understand, it's bizarre being a piercer and having to pierce another piercer, or let alone have another piercer watch you.
Yeah.
It's so stressful. One of the most
Oh, no,
stressful things I've ever done in my life was I took the Fakir Intensives course, and it was the advanced course, and I had to do 3 advanced piercings. One was a Christina and a Septum, and I think an Ampelang, which are all crazy difficult piercings. And I had 3 senior piercers with clipboards writing down, not saying a word, as I perform these piercings, and they're critiquing me. And that was my test out. And I was just like, I can't even concentrate right now. Like every time they're writing everything down. Like, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? And
Did I do that wrong?
So it's so stressful. But if you can pierce another piercer, it's so good for you because, like, do what you do. I mean, you have nothing to hide. And if you're trying to hide something, you need to do some more homework and figure out what you're trying to hide. Are you not being clean enough? Because it's easy to be cleaner. You know, there's the information, you know, are you getting the right angle? If you're not doing the right angles, ask someone. But we should all be able to have another piercer or superior person in our line of work watch us work to know we're doing things the right way. Mm-hmm. You know?
I gotta say, I'm the complete opposite. I actually love piercing piercers, and I love when people watch me pierce.
She's a weirdo.
Yeah, I'm for
A little bit.
As of right now, at least piercing piercers makes me nervous, but having other piercers like watch me, at least in this context, I've actually felt like pretty secure about it. Like it makes me feel better. Like I'm not going to, like, in case anything goes horribly wrong, like I have a get out of jail free card for the most part. Maybe not free, but
Yes.
reduced sentence.
Reduced sentencing.
Yeah. We know the
A
jailer.
talking to after.
Yes. Agreed. Blue Pencil number 1 asks, hey Scott, I've been watching your videos, was wondering would a double orbital helix piercing be healed with straight barbells, curved barbells, or rings, and how hard it is to heal an orbital helix. We did talk about orbitals a little bit earlier.
Double orbital?
Yeah, it says double orbital, this is really hard for me to say.
Apparently.
Double orbital helix. How hard
That was
would
a
that
doozy.
be to heal?
So my question is like, are you doing a ring inside of a ring, or are you doing a helix orbital here and a helix orbital on this side, or is it 2 separate ones? Because there's all differences. Like if I was to do, can you do an orbital inside an orbital picture for us? Kind of show you what we're talking about.
Yep, I'll try and find
in
one.
a situation like this, I would do the inside piercing first, fully heal it up, and then go for the outside piercing because there's just going to be too much swelling, and I don't think there'll be much of a chance for it to possibly heal. Make sure you give yourself a side to sleep on, and yeah, see, like this, incredible, not an easy thing. As you can see, like it's not 100% perfect, but that's about as good as you're going to possibly get it. Trying to get those lines evenly symmetrical all the way around, it's not gonna. That's the crazy ear.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
That looks really good.
Helix to rook to doth.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, sorry, I got a little distracted. Hey, there's another one of your industrial orbitals that you were looking for earlier.
Yeah, so actually it's the same one. I just happened
it is,
to
isn't
notice that there was a helix orbital.
Ooh,
up
look
on
at the
double orbital.
look at the double helix on the red hair.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's sick.
So again, start with the inside one, heal it up, and then move to the outside one is how I would personally
Right.
do it.
One at a
I
time, in my opinion.
I would do one whole orbital at a time. I wouldn't do individual piercings unless you're running into troubles and whatnot. But,
This looks so hard to heal.
Yeah.
okay, look at the one. Go to the doth orbital. Go to that one there. That's a doth orbital.
Double doth. Love that.
That's even more.
Oh, even the
difficult.
rook. Look at the rook. It's got an orbital in it
Oh
as
my
well.
god.
Oh, look at the The antitragus
It's literally
orbital.
all orbitals.
All orbitals, sick.
That is
Well,
insane.
The flat to the lobe looks pretty fresh and swollen. Those look pretty.
Yeah.
I also don't love how much the jewelry is precious.
I don't like that at
Yeah.
all.
The,
The pressure on
bend
that
needs
flat.
to be bent better.
Nope. Yeah, the pressure on that flat looks like the ring or the barbell itself is too short through the flat.
Yeah.
It's indenting in pretty bad. Don't like that.
Other than that, all of those orbitals, oh my God. That's the orbital ear of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Looks
sure.
sick.
Impressive. So yeah, that's what I'm assuming you're talking about. For all we know, they're talking about one orbital here and one orbital here. Yeah, one at a time, no matter what.
No matter what. Mm-hmm.
Great question. It's an orbital day.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Maybe we should do more.
Yeah, bring some orbitals to
Kelsey
us.
wants orbitals all day today.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Oh God.
Bring it on.
Luckily, I have mostly jewelry changes today. I've got a pretty chill day. I'm doing this, and then I get to go to work and focus on doing stuff. around the
Changing
shop.
jewelry.
Yeah.
Callie Wood asks, "Hi y'all. Fun question for you guys. If you had to describe your personality as a piercing / body mod, what would it be?" I love that.
Whoa. Can you say that one more time? Like describe
If you
our-
were to describe your personality as a body mod,
As a
what would it
piercing
be?
or body mod?
As a piercing or a body mod, what would it be? Mine would maybe be
That's
an
so-
orbital because I look cool, but I'm sassy at times.
but you're hard to deal with.
Hard to deal with, but you're gonna love me anyways. I don't know.
I would say maybe a nostril.
Okay.
I wanted to say a smiley because when like you smile, it's just like this piercing pops out and it's happy and joyous. And I love what I do, but it's also a dangerous piercing with the risk of tooth damage. And,
It's also annoying to other piercers.
and I consider myself a bread and butter piercer, meaning I do all the basics, but I have them down real well. So that's why I want to say a nostril because it's what I do all day long. It gives you a lot of options. You can wear big jewelry, small jewelry, rings, stud, chains. So it's just
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna specifically limit the question to piercings because if it was all body modifications, I have so many that I could pick from that aren't related to piercing. But I would
Sub-incision?
Substances.
right.
Oh my gosh.
Don't look that up.
yeah. Don't. Yeah, I'm a bifurcation. No. I would say I'm a stretched bridge piercing.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm very obvious.
Okay.
I'm loud.
You stick out like a sore thumb.
I do stick out. Like if I go somewhere, like I'm very recognizable.
It's just because you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
It's the hair.
It is the hair. I'm willing to admit that. But yeah, I think it's that. But central to the face, so
Stretched
it's like
bridge
it's right there.
piercing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, a little stretched. So that's a fun question. Thank
Love
you.
that.
For
That was a really
Great
cool question.
question.
If we could describe each other as a piercing, I don't know.
Oh, that's tough.
That's really
Describe
tough.
me right now. What am I?
I don't know.
Lay it on me.
I want to. I want to say.
I'm a pain in the ass.
You're a giche piercing.
I'm niche piercing.
No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
fun loving, but a pain in the ass.
I would say cheek piercings.
Okay.
A little bit on the wild side there, a little bit on the extreme,
A
and
little
just
problematic,
all smiles.
but smiles.
Yeah.
Yay.
I would say I was gonna say navel piercing actually, because like I think of you as a piercer, obviously, and like a friend, but I also think of you very centrally as a mom. And I don't know, I just feel like the tummy has to do with mom stuff.
I love that.
So yeah, I think of you as a navel piercing.
Oh, thank you.
Nova.
Yeah. What? Oh shoot. What am I?
I don't know that the
nervous.
stretched bridge was pretty cool. I'd say
I have to go with mantises, and I can't tell you why. It's just because, like,
because the mantis is
I've
like
just-
so good on it.
yeah,
Heck yeah. Thank you.
I
That's
don't
awesome.
know why, but I just want to say mantises, and
I would say like something that was like a noticeable like center of the face piercing. So
Yeah.
like bridge or a nostril and mantis, something like that, because he definitely is like he strikes center of attention energy. You know, he does, not in a bad way, like in a good way. Like he's got really good high energy, happy, like welcoming person. So I love that.
I love
Yeah.
that too. Thank
Thank
you
you
guys. I'm
for
blushing.
that question.
That was so much fun. Cheers.
I was like, I don't know how I'm going to answer this one. And they're like, that's a great question.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love it. I love it. Thank you.
It made us think a lot. That's a fun one. Thank you. David Wilcox donated $20. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
That's Davo. Hello from Davo. Sorry I haven't been in contact. Life's been busy. I'll try and reach out soon.
We're all busy,
Excellent.
man. But
How you
thank
doing,
you.
Davo? Man, it's good to hear from you. Glad you're here in the live chat.
Yeah, thanks so much for
Davo's
stopping by.
piercer from Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines, I believe. Yep. And he also has the YouTube channel, the Tattoo and Piercing channel. So check out his channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good information.
Yeah, thanks so much for hanging out.
Yeah. One of these days, we're trying to get him on this show here. We talked a while ago, and I got to say, that was really weird. It was really fun, but it was weird because, like, when you see someone on TV all day long, and then you call them up. So I kind of understand when people come in like, oh, my God, it's really you. It's like, yeah, it's just me. But I felt the same way when I was talking to Davo, and I could tell that there was a,
That's so funny.
it was a bizarre experience, but it was really cool. So glad you're here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out for sure. Let's see. Hello from GGN Fific. I'm gonna go with. Let's see. Does it come in green? Said they've had their dermal for almost 10 years. That is definitely possible. It's not
Yes.
typical, but it's possible. So I've seen. I feel like I see them on like backs more often.
There's just more tissue there.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're deeper and they're more anchored in there. As long as you're not getting it caught on like couches and chairs and
I
pants
feel like
rubbing up against it.
From what I've seen, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
They just last a long time, is all I was going to say.
Yeah, they either last like no time at all, or they've been there for 13 years.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no in
I
between.
I just swapped out that this lady had come in the other day, and she had I believe it was a 14-year-old microdermal piercing right here,
That's
like
a-
on her shoulder. And I switched it out to a really pretty 14 karat piece from an Invictus, and it looked super rad. It was a
beautiful.
little bit grown out, but I mean that's usually what happens with those piercings is they start to kind of migrate out, especially with like weight of jewelry too. So, but it was really cool. It's beautiful,
14
super
years
unique
is
placement.
the longest I've heard of. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, anyone who has dermal anchors that are probably 6-7 years or older, I always get nervous changing them out. Because I'm like,
Same.
you have such good luck. This is really in there, and now you want me to mess with it. And it's like, I understand you want new jewelry, but it's so hard not to cause a little bit of irritation,
Yep.
especially if it's been on there and that top's on nice and tight. You got to give it that little.
That good little yank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want them to reject out. So if you can keep them in and keep the same jewelry, that's the best option. But
Yep.
I understand change is a good thing too. It's just there's always the risk of a rejecting.
Yes.
14 years, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lillian says hi.
What's
Or
up,
hello.
Lillian?
Chip says thanks a million. My nipple piercings have been doing great, by the way.
Glad
Awesome.
to
Thanks,
hear
Chip.
that. Yes. Chip's come in a couple times. I forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't he from Texas? Chip, where are you from? I think it's
I forget.
is it Arizona or is it Texas? One of those.
Something like
A little
that.
southern from us. But anyway, she's come in to visit a few times. We love Chip.
Awesome. Yeah, Chip's awesome. Chris K said, I read about a piercing school. They wanted 2,000 euros to participate, and it was a 2-day course.
Gosh, don't
That's
do
insane.
it. Don't waste your money.
That's
Because if
insane.
someone came in, if any of these girls from these PMU studios came in with this certificate of completion for piercing, I would laugh in their face. Like, I mean,
You got to be nice to him.
I would be nice, obviously, but I would look at it and be like, and what is this exactly? Like, this doesn't
mean anything.
mean anything. Sorry. But
Yep.
whatever you did was a complete waste of time. Ugh, those poor
Now,
girls. I
there
feel
are
so bad.
a few courses. I'm not going to say all of them are bad. There are some schools where they're not necessarily schools where you get a license when you're done, but like the Fakir intensives.
Yeah.
It's like a week-long course. It's 8 hours a day. You're talking with other piercers, but a lot of times this isn't like the starting grounds. This is like, I've been piercing for a year. I need to up my skills, or I've just finished my apprenticeship and I need some more, that's what the stuff is for.
Right.
Some people use it as a starting base, but if you don't have any starting ground before you go to these schools, I feel like you're just not going to be able to absorb as much. Being around your peers and you can discuss things back and forth, but if you have no hands-on, it doesn't really work that well.
No.
So it's a start, but it doesn't work as good as it should. So I know Fakir Intensives, the Gauntlet doesn't do it anymore. David Vidra had a piercing thing for a while. Ryan Ouellette he does seminars and things. That guy is knowledgeable. He is so smart and such a good guy. He also has the Piercing Wizard podcast. I'd say there's sources of information, which means there's no excuse for bad piercers.
No.
Agreed.
None. So
Agreed.
sometimes I find myself talking louder and louder, and I realize, oh, my earplugs are coming out.
There you go. There you go.
I got all this jewelry pushing them out, so there we go.
Yeah,
Sounds
you do.
better.
Devin G says hello.
What's up, Devin?
Let's see. GGN FIFIC. Oh, it looks like they said also they look down on and go out of their way to block anything. So yeah, I hope they get it right. I hope they get it right back. I think they're talking about the health department actually.
Oh, yeah. It's such a sad situation. I mean, there's so much money, and they keep hiring more people to create laws and so forth, but no one to enforce it.
Yes.
And enforcement's the most
Ridiculous.
important part.
Yeah. There's no point without enforcement, right?
Yeah, none. None.
Looks like we're having a little bit of buffering issues. Sorry about that, everybody. Hope you guys can stick around. I'm not sure.
One of these days, we're going to figure out this buffering issue thing here. We go back and forth. We're trying all the different things. I don't know why it's
Acting silly.
where the problem is.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
We're trying for you guys, though. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So Tina C says, I got my navel pierced beginning of January. I'm on a weight loss journey and plan to be dropping over 50 pounds.
Nice.
Should I abandon the piercing now and get it redone later, or just leave it be?
I would just leave it be because your navel, I mean, yes, with weight loss and everything, your navel could potentially change shape. But I mean, if it's deep enough and you've healed it perfectly fine and everything looks great, it's really not going to, it's not really going to move much. I currently am 60 pounds down in the last 7 months. I weigh 185. When I started, I was 250. So,
Holy cow. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm trying really hard.
was looking
I don't know
to
if you guys noticed.
If you look at the old live chat,
Yeah, if you look at the
it's
old lives,
really-
I'm
yeah.
really round and I look swollen.
You do
and-
look great.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm trying really hard. Trying to get down to 165 and then,
Yes.
Mommy makeover, here I come.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Yeah.
Angelina Ciani says, hey, from Germany, what's your favorite ear piercing to do?
I do personally love flat piercings. I mean, I love all piercings in general. I really love doing conch piercings, flats. I love rooks. So, I mean, realistically, just about anything on the ear. But rooks and flats, I'd gotta say, are right now like my most favorite to do.
I think rook is my favorite one. The technique I have where I curve the needle and I go from bottom up,
Yep.
and then you just screw the bead on the top. It's just so fast and smooth. And I know that there's a lot of piercers out there who don't do them as smooth, which makes them seem, or not seem, but makes them more painful. And with the right technique,
Yep.
I know I'm causing less pain than the other piercers, which
I really
it
want to
just
try
makes it
bottom
more
up.
enjoyable that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to try bottom up rook piercings because I've always done them top down.
I do bottom up as well. Where's
Yeah.
the little ear thing? I want to show you guys how I do it. I love rug piercings. They're so just simple for me to do. Well, this is backwards.
Is this one better?
Yeah. Yeah, so for a rook, I mean, if I'm piercing from like the
You're gonna have to
I'll
hold
do
it up,
the
sorry.
from the top down. But yeah, what I do is I take this hand and
You're gonna
I
have to hold it
fold-
up. Sorry, Kelsey.
Yeah. I fold the helix down so that the rook is fully exposed and the helix is flat down and then everything down here is pretty flat and with a curved
Like
needle.
this.
Yep. Pierce. Yep.
See how that folds?
Exactly.
And then you have access
Yep. So
to
it
the
exposes
bottom up.
everything right here in the rook. It just sticks
Don't rip
right
it.
up. Oh,
Ah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
ripping it.
Oh no.
That's okay.
We'll fix it.
A Band-Aid will fix that. You just spit out to heal it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'll fold
recommended.
that and expose that whole rook, and it makes it so the rook sits nice and flat and just straight through. It's awesome.
Yep. Just a small little curve on the needle, and it goes right in there.
Love it.
Anyways, that's how I do my
Yeah.
rooks. If you pierce top down, a lot of times the bevel of the needle grabs, and as a piercer, you know what I'm talking about. How you go, and then it's like, and then it's that last part where it's like people go, ow, that's what we're eliminating there. So
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to try it.
Oh.
I want to try it. My favorite ear piercing is probably
I
conches.
think we all heard that one.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Here, I'm not drinking this.
Oh.
I almost
Garbage.
did. If you put it in front of me, coffee, I'll drink it.
Right? Yeah, I think I like conches. They're probably my favorite ear piercing. They're easy for me to do, and I love
The jewelry options.
Yep.
Oh yeah, jewelry options for that.
So many rad ones. Tina says hello, everyone.
Hey, Tina.
Let's see. Oh, that person was talking about an orbital inside of an orbital. So
Cool.
Cool.
got it right. Let's see. Yeah, Dave.
I think we do pretty okay on guessing. When people say stuff and we're not 100% sure, I think we do all right with that.
Yeah, pretty close
Yeah.
for sure. Let's see. Yeah,
Thanks for
Dave,
being so descriptive, people. It really does make our job easier.
we appreciate it very much. Chip said Arizona, by the way. So
Arizona. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Tyler said, would love to have piercings by Davo, Scott, and Kelsey. I'd be famous.
Let's go.
You'd get the trifecta.
Yes.
What would we do? Nipple, navel?
Yeah, we
get
can
it, like-
tandem. We can all tandem something. Oh my gosh,
that'd be so
doing
fun.
it. Schedule your appointment for a Friday. Boom.
That would be awesome.
Dave,
I'll
you're
do
in, right?
I'll do the rook. Scott will do a nipple. Nova will do a conch.
Oh, yeah. No,
Boom.
we're Davo.
Davo.
Yeah, Davo.
Davo, too.
Not me.
Oh, Davo, sorry. And Nova.
4 piercings.
Yes.
We can fit all around the table. You're going to feel
Yeah,
so
right.
overwhelmed. You're like, ready?
Spooky Sweetheart has fallen into a classic blunder of my nose piercing got caught in my loofah and it hurts. It is the absolute worst. We always say that the worst part about this piercing isn't you're not going to have happen here. It's going to be you're going to get it caught on a towel or a
Yeah.
In
loofah.
the shower.
Take that
Yes.
loofah off because, I mean, it's going to feel better once it's not caught on your nose.
Ooh.
I'm terrible. So terrible. Yeah, you're not alone. Just do your best to baby it. And if you start getting that irritation bump, the emu oil really does work well. It really helps calm things down. You can buy it on Amazon. A lot of piercing studios will actually sell it. Not all of them. A lot of the older school ones. I don't know why the newer school ones don't sell that emu oil as much. If you're a piercer, let us know. Do you ever use emu oil suggested or even sell at your shop? Let us know in the comments. I'm really curious about this one.
And Davo agrees with us. He said, as piercers, you are always learning.
You should never stop. Ever, ever, ever.
Nope.
Yes. it's
That's
very
why we go
important.
to APP every year, just so that we are up to date with everything and we know the best of the best that we possibly can.
Yep.
So we can provide everybody
Yeah,
with
it's
the
important.
best.
It's important.
Yes.
Deathborn says, hey, Scott, love your videos. Currently healing a giche. Have you had any customers convert their apodravia from a PA?
Yes.
I'm currently debating it because I like the look of my PA/Ampelang combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best conversion. As long as the PA is stretched large enough where you can fit the needle inside there, that's all you really need. So you need to have at least 8 or a 6 gauge Prince Albert to convert it to the apodravia. But that's the best way to go about getting an apodravia. An apodravia is vertical through the head of the penis. And if you have the Prince Albert first, it generally works better. That's how I had my apodravia pierced. Was I already had a pre-existing Prince Albert, and it's just an easier heal that way. You know, you can guarantee that you're going center right through the dead center of the urethra. So, yeah, I suggest it, unless it's not the look you're looking for. You know, I've never heard of anyone having an apodravia and being able to wear a PA through the apodravia hole, and I think it would just be a
lot of jewelry.
lot of mess with urinating.
Oh.
Would be
Sitting
probably-
down pretty.
That's like more than sitting down. That's like
Sitting pretty.
That's like-
humans
Like
Yeah.
are
squatting. Papa squat.
it's like the spray setting on a hose.
Oh no.
You almost need to put a bag over the whole thing and pee into a bag. Boy, did I give everyone a bad visual.
Right. Put a catheter in. There you go.
pretty
Problem
much.
One
solved.
thing I do like about the apodravia over the PA is a Prince Albert, a lot of times the urine follows the ring or the bar and you get a little extra spray, and a lot of times you have to sit down. With an apodravia, being you have a bead on the bottom, you can almost pull the barbell up a little bit, which almost plugs the bottom hole, which allows you to stand and urinate more normally than with a Prince Albert.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Depends on the size of the jewelry and what you're wearing, of course, too. So
Yeah. Makes sense.
I had a friend that stretched his apodravia up to a 2 gauge.
Oof.
I don't know how he peed.
That's hefty. Yeah, I
Like,
don't
how
know
would
either.
anything come out of the just going all the way around that bar? Crazy. 2 gauge.
2 gauge is wild.
Too much. Too much.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like that would block the urethra completely.
It's going to
Like
stretch.
a plug.
It's going to stretch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will.
true.
It will stretch.
Yeah, I had one of my clients come in and we just did a Prince Albert stretch, but he also has the reverse PA. So he has a ring in both of them, but we recently, this last weekend, stretches PA from a 6 to a 4, and we were going to do the reverse PA stretch up, but he's like, I'm glad we didn't because this really fills everything up. And it's like, it does that one little step, if he did both stretches, I think his urethra would have been unhappy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah. And if you're watching, congratulations on that stretch, and hopefully those frenums are doing well. We did a bunch of frenums on them, and
Heck
one
yeah.
of them bled a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he was a little nervous about that. Hopefully he didn't bleed out.
She's fine.
Frenums are cool.
A couple days.
I want to do more didos. So if you ever want a dido, come in and see your girl. We got to
Cool.
bring those back. I used to do a lot of them, and then they kind of died down, and I've done 2.
They died down.
They died down.
I were right on that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've done 2 since being at Piercing Vegas, which is cool, but it's a rare one.
Yeah. Yep. Dido's that little ridge through the head.
Right at the top of the head of the penis. I like doing double because it makes it look cute, like it's looking at you.
Proper
frog
snake
eyes.
or frog eyes.
Yeah, the proper form of a frog eye.
Yes, indeed. Callie Wood said, glad you love the question. They're talking about the describe yourself
Yeah.
as a
I
as a
agree.
piercing. I love the channel. Been watching since episode 1. My shyness has definitely worn off after going from 6 to 16 piercings and first tattoos at 33.
Good.
yeah.
For you.
Awesome.
Yes. It really does. I mean, it makes us feel more confident. We get less shy because we're more confident of ourselves, and we get more achieved in our life. I mean, when you're too shy to ask for things, you don't get the same progress as a lot of people do. So when you have piercings, you feel better about yourself. You're going to be more productive and a better part of society by getting piercings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Agreed.
Yes.
Because you're more you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more you are, the better. Usually
I was just
everyone
reading.
else's
I was
lives
just
are.
reading the sign behind Scott, just to remind you guys: hit that like and that subscribe.
That's
There you go.
Yeah,
God, everything's backwards. Yeah.
But yes, we appreciate the likes and subscribes very much. They definitely help out.
Absolutely.
yes.
Ursula
Hey, Ursula, how are we doing
odds.
today?
asked, is it normal that I'm both excited and nervous to finally see 7/8 and 1-inch plugs in person? I plan to stay at 9/16 and every major size afterwards for about a year each, so I'm in no rush. I got the idea to schedule the rest of my stretching journey in hopes of the timing so I can size up to an inch mark by my 50th birthday in 2029. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know what? That might be kind of a tough one to follow because, I mean, you find that one piece of jewelry. And, the other thing, too, is like if you have one plug in for a full solid year, you're going to want to buy extra plugs on top of it. So I don't know if I could follow that schedule. I think I'd have to go a little bit faster than that. I like how you're taking it nice and slow, but variety
Absolutely.
is also the spice of life.
Yes.
So you got to
True.
have some other fun
Reaching
stuff
your
in there.
goal size and then having
Yeah.
the variety. It's always the funnest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming from the person who rarely changes any of his plugs in his face. Like, you need to have variety, and then yet mine's staying year round. So. Never mind.
Yeah, right. You change your nostril
Yeah.
plugs every once in a while.
Once in a while, not enough.
Yeah.
You guys would be in awe if you saw my plug collection for my nostril, and you only wear those. Yeah, I probably have 40 sets of plugs for my nose.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I've only seen like 5 or 6 maybe.
Uh-huh.
Dang. That's awesome. though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where are we? Tina said, it's not bothering me at all. Talking about the navel piercing. I have a floating piece, and congratulations on your weight loss, Kelsey.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And congratulations on your journey,
yeah,
too.
on yours.
That's amazing.
I have all the faith in you to do that. It's hard, but if I could do it, you can do it. But I do also, I get the help of semaglutide shots weekly, but they've been helping a lot. It helps suppress my appetite and everything. I definitely recommend it to people, so it's great.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
So on another note here, Kelsey, did you polish up your ear weights, or are they always just that shiny and look that
They're
good?
always
Look at those
just
things.
this
Little
great.
jawbones there. Just,
These Redfern adornments.
yeah, those are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
They're my favorites. I practically live in these.
Yeah, I know you do. Love them. They are sick.
I'm obsessed with them.
But look at how shiny they look on TV. They look good.
Oh, yeah, look at that bling bling.
Woo!
Look at that gesture, too.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I love myself too much now.
So Deathborn, who was the person that was going to convert their Apodravia or convert their PA to an Apodravia, he had said that the PA is getting slightly uncomfortable right now. He's at a 6 gauge and feels like if I go any bigger, I won't like the look of it. Currently aiming for my ampulang, hafada, and giche to all be 6 gauge.
Nice.
Cool.
Those are all good sizes and great piercings to heal. Pretty easy to heal.
Yes, indeed. Shalon Ortevez also says, congrats on the weight loss. That's so hard. Huge props.
Thank you.
Tina said her flats were spicy.
Mm-hmm.
They can be. Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Any piercing can be. I mean, not having the right amount of sleep, stress in your system. Some days you just wake up and you're like, it's not the right day to get pierced, but like, I'm going to get it done because I have this set appointment or whatever.
Women and their cycles, like I'm way more sensitive, like
many people
certain
come
times
over?
of the month, and I'm like, don't touch me. Don't pierce me.
People come in hung over.
Ow,
to get
that
pierced,
hurt.
And it's just
Exactly.
like- so there's a lot of variables, but yeah, just be in the right state of mind, and it does make things a little bit easier. And go to a good piercer.
Yep.
Yeah, a dull needle sucks.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does. Angela Ciani says, my rook is 20 years old and I love it a lot. I think I want a flat next. Don't know why I'm kind of scared since I have a doth and inner conch and had a tragus. I have a sun, moon, and stars theme going on in my ear. It's fun.
Love that.
It's so fun to get creative.
Ooh, for the flat, you can do like a moon phase one where it has the moon in the center and then the 2 on the outside, the moon phase.
Yep, I have those in my nostrils.
Yes.
Love it.
It'd be super cute for a flat.
Yeah, that would be
And with
rad.
your theme.
It would fit for sure. Let's see. Anna Hugman says, I have a question about the studio. I'm 25 years old from the UK, and I was going to book an appointment to travel to the US. Could I use my British passport as ID, or do you only accept US government-issued ID?
No, passports are totally
Passport.
fine. Totally fine. We will need the passport, so make sure you bring that in with you. But yeah, passports, legal ID.
Yes.
Yep. Tollefson asks, do you remember the first piercing you did?
Yes, it was a nightmare.
Yes.
Mine was okay. It wasn't crazy, but
Oh,
I'll start with mine. It's probably like
Yes.
the least ridiculous. I pierced my cousin. It was in a shop, and it was a flat piercing, and it was pretty scary. And I almost got a needle stick. I was like a few millimeters away from just putting a needle straight into my own finger. So that was fun. But yeah, it didn't heal. It was like it wasn't quite sideways, but it was pretty dang close. I remember I sent Kelsey, I had known you at that point, and I remember I think you were the first person I sent the picture to. And yeah, you were like, "Oh, good job." It looks like, I don't remember what you said, but it was very encouraging. So thank you.
Good. You're welcome.
good.
So my experience with my first piercing. So it was in the beginning of my apprenticeship, and a lot of you guys probably don't know too much of my backstory as far as piercing goes, but I have been piercing people since like middle school. Don't condone it. Don't do that. Don't pierce your friends at school. It is completely wrong. So I go into my apprenticeship, which I had moved here and then luckily ran into the right people, and I landed myself a counter staff job. And then they fired their apprentice, and then they were like, I know that you were piercing like back home and whatever. Do you want to, further that into a career and actually become a piercer? And I was like, yes, please. I'll be here all day, every day. Anyways, so I'm like 2 months in, and then this client comes in. She was like, oh, you're an apprentice? And I was like, yeah, I am. And they were like, are you piercing people yet? And then I was like, can I pierce them? And so my mentor at the time, he was like, have you pierced a belly button? And I was like, kind of, yes. And so I'm just like, okay. And I go into this with zero knowledge, zero nothing, like, okay, like whatever. And I go to pierce this woman's navel, and I pierce it, and everything goes in fine, but I go to transfer the jewelry, didn't use a taper or anything, and I missed my transfer halfway through, and she starts profusely bleeding. And I'm talking like her belly button is filling with blood, and it's like going over her stomach and onto the table, and I'm in panic mode. And my mentor's just standing there like, Because he was like, well, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable or confident in doing it, but I mean, you seem pretty confident and you think you know what you're doing. So like, by all means, but I mean, she knows you're the apprentice and that you can mess up. Anyway, so I'm sitting and I'm trying to get the jewelry in, and it was a freaking nightmare. It got to the point where the lady was like, you know what? I actually don't really want this anymore. So, yeah. And it made me feel terrible. And so that was a big lesson learned for me where, yes, I can have like all the confidence in the world, but like I was a little I was very humbled.
What's up?
We lost audio there for a second there. Could
Oh.
you repeat that last part? I think it was where you said you were feeling cocky or...
Yeah, I was a little too confident and cocky about it. Like, yeah, I can do this. I can pierce circles around everybody. You know, I was in that state of mind where I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I absolutely did not. And my mentor knew it, and it was a test, and it was definitely a huge lesson learned. It humbled me.
It wasn't a test. It was a lesson for you to learn.
Yes, it was a lesson for me to learn.
Exactly
he knew
what
exactly what was going to happen. And yeah, he was like, oh, no taper? I remember he even made the comment, no taper. And I'm like, oh, no, I got this. I've never used a taper before. And he's like, okay, go ahead. It was a huge lesson learned. And then a month following that, I was learning how to pierce nostrils from the inside out. And I was doing them on body bits and everything. And I felt pretty confident in it. And he had called my mom to come in. So my very first inside out nostril piercing was on my mother.
That's horrific.
And I not even kidding, every time I would line the needle up to her face, my hand would start going like this. And I got to a point, I had a panic attack, and I was like hyperventilating, crying. And my mom was like, look, we're either going to do this or you're not meant to do this. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. Nailed it. She still has it.
Heck yeah.
But that was one of those humbling experiences as well. And I feel like that's why I have moved past that nervousness of piercing friends, other piercers, and whatever else, because it was awesome. Great.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'll try to make my story nice and quick here.
Sorry.
So I've been piercing, or not, I haven't been piercing, but I've been getting pierced for about 6 months. My piercer said, hey, I'm moving out of state, so get what you want to get pierced before I move. And I was like, well, can you just teach me to pierce before you move so I can pierce myself? And he's like, sure. He goes, just bring in this amount of money and come in tomorrow, bring someone to get pierced, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm like, okay. So I show up with my good friend Andy. He wanted to get his nipple pierced. And my piercer says, well, I've pierced you before. Go ahead and pierce him. I'll stop you if you do anything wrong. Okay.
This was Scott's apprenticeship.
That was my apprenticeship. I was like, oh my God,
Just jumping into this head first.
I go in there,
Love
I
it.
clean them, and I mark them. I think I'm getting it right, And then my mentor pulls me aside. He's like, come over here. He's like, okay, 2 things. Number 1.
You need gloves. Just kidding.
Yeah, number 1, you should be wearing gloves. No, he says, number 1, he goes, you tell him you're going to do it on 3, and you do it on 1 or 2. I'm like, okay. And he's like, and the second thing, don't miss your dots. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wow.
It was
So
not
element of
crooked.
surprise.
I can't believe I got the ring inside the nipple because we pierced with rings back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was crooked. I'm sorry, Andy. I was shaky.
Sorry, bro.
Like, God, what a terrible experience. But it's like sink or swim. That's what I did, and I just jumped in, and it wasn't the best apprenticeship. And shortly after that is when I found out about the gauntlet courses, the Fakir courses. Then I got a job hired at St. Sabrina's where we started really understanding what I was doing to people.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's how I started.
Yes.
It sounds like we're all pretty darn shaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the beginning. No more shakes now.
Yeah.
Unless I've had too much of this, then I'm like,
Yeah, I hear ya. This is where I cut it off for the day.
Yeah,
for,
this is-
if I'm
I'm like,
piercing.
cut
Otherwise,
off.
it's like,
Love it. Julie Couch says, what's up, Scott?
good afternoon or evening or morning, whatever it is for you, wherever you're from. But hi.
So I'm not even going to attempt this because it's in a different, it's in, I believe, a Greek alphabet.
Okay.
So
nice.
you know who you are.
Happy piercer person.
Yes. Hello, friends. I've been wondering after seeing your Dalia piercing video, Scott, won't Dalia piercings cause drooling and problems due to the salivary glands being pierced?
so
No, not exactly.
our salivary glands, I believe, are further out this way. And the way that you can feel for those. So the thing that you have to worry about when it comes to Dalia piercings is this is all muscle right here. If you feel right here, this is all muscle. And I mean, you definitely do have to pierce through that area. There's really no avoiding it.
But the salivary glands are further back.
It's like right here,
so
yeah.
dahlias are not the
If you
concern. It's
pinch-
more risk. The more cheek piercings that are at risk.
So right here, I can feel it. And if you pinch it hard enough, it literally makes you drool. So they're pretty far back there. I mean, it's different for everybody.
But Elaine Angel had her cheeks pierced, and they were kind of
a little far back.
The general rule of thumb is you need to stay in front of the molars, and you should be able to avoid that salivary gland. But dahlias, no, there's really no problems with that. I have never had my dahlias pierced. I've never had seen or heard of anyone having problems with drooling. I'm not saying it's not possible to happen. If you got pierced maybe with steel and you were you had an allergic reaction, your holes were getting bigger, then you might be able to drool a little bit out of it. But I mean, even when I had my lips pierced, like stretched up to like 6 gauge, like I couldn't even push water through there. Some people can, I couldn't. So I don't see it really being a problem.
Yep. And I also just want to clarify that we consider dahlia and cheek piercings not to be exactly the same.
Correct. Dahlia is right at the corner of the mouth. Cheek piercings are where you're going to see the dimples.
Yep. And cheek piercings, you can have some issues with
Yes, you
salivary
can.
glands. But dahlias are close enough in that you shouldn't. Unless you have...
My big concern with dahlias is if they're pierced too shallow, the possibility of rejecting and leaving a nasty scar. I haven't seen it, but I'm not saying it's not possible. That'd be rough. I think you'd take it out before you got to that bad. Ugh.
Agreed.
How are we doing for time? I've lost track.
Yeah, I honestly wasn't keeping track. We are an hour and 15 in.
Okay, cool. We got another 45 to go.
Yeah,
Nice.
It is 12:15 right now. So Anna Hugman says, my eyebrow piercing is 8 weeks old and healing well. I've just had it changed to a shorter bar by the piercer. I've lost some of my eyebrow. Is this from Q-tip cleaning? Is it normal? Will it grow back? What I mean is that there are hairs that fall when cleaning, and after 8 weeks, my eyebrow is noticeably thinner than the other side. The piercing itself is fine.
I've personally never heard of something like that happening. That sounds like a follicle issue. They could have potentially pierced you a little bit too shallow, maybe damaging the follicle pods. I don't know.
Like I can't imagine like all of your eyebrows. Like
It might be rubbing too hard as well.
If you're rubbing
cleaning
too hard, you're pulling the eyebrow hairs out. But I mean, like it should. If only the area where it was pierced is where the hairs wouldn't really reject out. Now, if your piercing rejects all the way out, you've seen where no hair grows through that area. I can understand that, unless, like Kelsey said, they pierced it so shallow. Then if that's the case, it might be worth taking out.
I do have a question. So where your jewelry sits, is the tissue like a lot more shiny than like say around your eye? Like is the tissue where the barbell is sitting behind, is it getting nice and shiny where like the hair is where you're losing the hair? Because that is like a genuine sign of this piercing rejecting. Because the jewelry is being
trail,
pulled.
you mean?
Yep, the trail. Yeah. So
if you look behind it, you can see where it used to be, and like sometimes the skin gets less and less and less.
well,
You
the
can
tissue over
see
the barbell,
the old path.
once it becomes like nice and shiny versus like the tissue that's around, like that's just like
Healing.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it's
Like while a piercing is healing.
I think it's like while any wound is healing, it's like if you have a cut, like I burned myself in like yesterday, like while cooking, and like there's a line on my hand that's shinier than everything else. So
Yeah.
Did you put emu oil on it?
I didn't. It wasn't bad.
Emu oil works really well for burns. I will
It
say
does.
that.
Yeah.
I burned myself bad one time actually, and I put emu oil on and literally had no
It's
problem.
unbelievable. It's so cool. Sorry you burned yourself.
Yeah, it's okay. But Anna, generally speaking, I would say your best bet would be to get a second opinion from another piercer.
Yeah.
Someone who can see it in person.
Yeah, someone who can see it in person. Pictures can help, but seeing things in person really does change things. So I would suggest going to another piercer just to get a second opinion, make sure that they're high quality and that you do some research on them before you go.
And then my other question I would have is like when you were originally pierced your eyebrow, could you see bar right away? Did they give room for swelling, or did it reject to where you need to get it downsized? You know, because if there's no bar showing initially and there was 8 weeks later, it might be coming out nice and quick. But if you got it pierced and you could see the bar hanging out, then you might be okay. It's really hard to say without seeing a picture. We're seeing you in person. I got the hiccups 2 times in this episode.
2 times today.
Lucky 2.
I was excited.
I get it.
Barbara Engineer asks, what is the oldest age a person should consider starting a piercing career?
I mean, I wanted to be a piercer. I think the moment I saw that my aunt had her tongue pierced, or at least I wanted to get pierced. As far as being a piercer, it was as early as like this 5th grade, 6th grade.
I think she's asking the other way. So what is
Yeah,
the
so like
oldest
what would
age?
be a proper age?
Or no, like how I think she's saying, am I too old to become a piercer?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I think
Never.
that is the question.
It
Jen.
kind of depends on your environment and where you're working. You know, if you're completely surrounded by a bunch of shops and it's like oversaturated in that area, it might be kind of tougher to get a job. But at the same time, people are going to trust an older piercer a little bit more than a younger piercer. Younger piercers are generally a little bit more reckless, and people want that secure thing. So having, like my issue I've been having recently, getting a little bit older, I'm almost 50 at this point, is my vision. Like I've had to get bifocals and I have to pierce with bifocals now. And it's frustrating and I feel like my eyes are breaking. I can, with my glasses on, I can see just fine, but that's my only concern is things like that. The dexterity of your hands, being able to hold on to the beads, and your vision. If those are good, there's no real restrictions. So yeah. Keep in mind, an apprenticeship's probably going to be a minimum 6 months. Generally, I tell people 1 to 2 years is a good apprenticeship. So, but yeah, I don't think there's any age restriction. Yeah, that would be it.
Cool.
I got pierced by Fakir Mushafar. He did my apodravia at ritualistic style, and I don't know how old he was. He was probably, what was it, 99? He was 2006. 60s?
There you go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would say if it's something that you're passionate about, never too late.
Yeah.
Never too late. Let's see. Bunny Cake says, hi, everyone. This is my first live stream I've been able to catch. I've been binge watching the past live streams for the last 3 weeks because I miss every live. Sorry about
welcome.
We're trying to do later ones and earlier ones to try to hit more people this way. But yeah, glad you made it. Glad you're here. Welcome to the family.
Welcome. Yeah, generally we do them Wednesday at 11, but we are trying to do some later ones throughout the month.
I think later ones would be fun. We could order a pizza.
They are fun. Tina C says, this is a good question, which safe, acceptable piercings do you refuse to do under all circumstances?
I don't pierce cheeks. I don't feel comfortable doing it because of that small risk of the salivary glands. You said safe piercings?
Yeah.
Safe, acceptable piercings.
Safe,
So
acceptable
I would say
piercings.
this isn't talking about like a snake eyes or any horizontal.
Yeah.
It's talking about anything other than.
I think cheeks is one of the few that I won't do.
I have a few. I think I'm more conservative than you guys on that.
What don't you do?
Cheeks, dahlias, smileys, snugs.
Okay.
So smileys because of the potential.
I'm not a huge fan of snug piercings. I will do them, but I am getting to a point where I would like to maybe step away from them because, just finding somebody, I guess mature enough to heal this piercing who wants it done it's so hit or miss. I've only ever had maybe 3 people in the last 10 years that I've been doing this, like successfully heal a snug.
Serious?
Yes.
I have
Snug piercings are rough.
I have a client that has one that's healed up in like 4 months.
I have a client
doesn't make
currently.
sense, and it's not normal.
Yeah, one of my regulars, she has just came in for her second downsize and her 3rd piercing by me, and they were her first piercing ever was not a snug, it was an antitragus. So, but even though those are a little bit iffy, but they're a lot easier to heal up. But a snug piercing, man, oh man, they're a pain. It's just like finding the right person to heal it is like the biggest thing, because if you sleep on this piercing, it is not going to do well.
Can you pull up some snug piercings for us, Nova?
Sure.
Yeah. We're just going to see, like when you're looking at these, you're going to see how swollen all of them look. Very few of them look like they're in their natural position. I'm not even looking at the pictures yet, but I can tell you right now, they're all going to look like poof. They're all poofed up in that area. Yep. And that one with
that one looks good.
See, it looks a little poofy in that area,
but not too
But for the
terrible.
most part, it's pretty good.
That one's mad.
That one looks good, but it's a little angry. You can tell it's pretty. Is that fresh?
Fresher. Ooh, that one.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Yeah. It's literally on the outer rim of the ear, and that's the area of the ear that hits the pillow first when you go to lay down. And I'm telling you,
they need to go to the doctor. Their
Yeah.
ear's going to be misshaped if they don't have
causes cauliflower ear, all sorts of
Yeah.
issues. It's not a good time.
Hey, that's me.
Hey, that's Scott.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So yeah, they generally get pretty puffy. They're pretty tough to heal. I used to like really dread doing anti-traguses. Like, oh, they're so rough to heal. They're twice as easy to heal as a snug. Snug is the number one most difficult pain in the butt piercing, and that's the issue with the piercing. Is most people come in like, well, I healed all these helixes. I'm like, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Like, unless you've healed up like that orbital person that was on the picture earlier. Like, if you healed up like 4 or 5 orbitals, like, yeah, sure, I'll do it snug on you, no problem.
Right.
Because you understand what's going on here. But that's the issue is expect a minimum of a year. I'd say even closer to a year and a half.
Yeah. My mentor's 2 cents was that if it takes a year and a half to 2 years, that I don't want to do it on people that aren't like regulars or anything along those lines.
Correct.
I always
that's
push
how I feel about like large gauge earlobes too. Like you don't have any, and you want to start rated to 0 gauge or 2 gauge. I'm like, it's there could be way more problems. You don't understand the healing process. If you don't like this, it's going to leave a way bigger scar. Same thing with the snug.
Yep.
Anytime someone comes in and they don't have anything else done, they want large gauge lobes, I'll explain to them like, okay, the biggest I will start you at is like a 10. Because you can potentially shrink down and wear like somewhat normal earrings or even just flat back studs and be comfortable. But once you start at a larger gauge, there's really no going back. And it's not something that you should impulsively do.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I feel like maybe a large gauge lobes on someone who isn't very experienced with healing piercings is another thing that I would maybe try to talk them out of doing. So,
But as far as the snugs go, I usually try to push people towards a faux snug. I've done a few of those.
Yes.
And I've seen more success with that. Even it's one of like the few piercings that's weird that they like cross in the back. So you do have to plan for that. I actually like using bead backs for that.
Yep.
okay.
So they don't get caught as much.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, snugs are rough.
There.
I'm noticing something about you, Nova.
Yeah.
You love conch piercings, and you're going to do a conch piercing anytime you get a chance.
Yeah, that is true. It's like, oh, you want a snug? How about a sideways conch piercing?
How about a conch instead?
Exactly.
That's funny. Angie says, hi, Scott, Kelsey, and Nova. Watching you guys from Peru.
Hi.
This is a good question. I was wondering what happened with live episode 72 and 73. I can't find them in your channel. Never got to finish them. So we've been pulling them down to, we've been trying to edit the live streams to re-upload them. I think 72, I thought 72 should be up, but maybe it's not.
We changed the thumbnail and we kind of changed the name of it too, but we're trying to hire on an editor, and the problems we're having right now, constant problems with electronics here, is now transferring over. How big were those files?
Like 200 gigabytes, 250
Yeah,
gigabytes. Yeah.
So I'm trying to find out a way how we can transfer that big of a file, and I just need to upgrade all our Google and Dropbox files, and once we find the right editor, these should start coming out on a regular basis. But we're in the process of trying to figure that out. It's a constant battle with me. I apologize. I wish I was more electronic savvy, but we eventually get there. It's just
they'll be coming.
Yeah.
They'll be coming for sure.
But thanks for noticing.
Yes, we appreciate it very much. And we are trying to do, like I say, we're going to be, or I think we're probably going to do the live stream, like what, twice a month-ish?
Twice a month, that we're going to start pushing for the piercing content coming out, because I've been working with that at the shop, and I think we got that figured out. So we'll be able to put out a lot more piercings and then just do this 2 times a month because, well, on top of this, I work 40 hours a week piercing and try to run the shop. So
Yes. A lot of fun stuff happening during the week.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. I just wish there was more hours in the week so I could get all the stuff done as much as I could. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world to love my job as much as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel so bad for the people that don't like their jobs. Find one you like.
I just feel bad for people who don't like their jobs, but they don't have it in them to chase after what it is that they want to do. so that they can love their job.
Follow your
I couldn't
dreams.
imagine working a day in my life hating what I do. And I definitely feel so lucky to be like where I am today and being able to do what I love to do every day. Because I really couldn't imagine waking up and being like, oh, I don't want to go
jumped
to work.
into this right away when you were at the right. See, like I got my apprenticeship when I was around 19 years old, but I had to work a lot of side jobs at gas stations and restaurants as a cook. Worked at a heating, venting, air conditioning company, like working in the shops and delivering parts. And it's like, yeah, that's just not my gig. The only other gig I really liked working at was the Cub Scout camp because we just got to play games all day.
That's awesome.
Hang out with a bunch of cool
I'm a
kiddos.
big kid.
I want to
Yeah.
get my kids into stuff like that. Like
You
I can't
should.
wait for like summer camps and everything. I loved summer
So
camp when I was a
much
kid.
fun.
So much fun.
I never went to summer camp.
Oh, it was so much fun. We
Really?
would do the YMCA at the Redwood Forest every year, every summer, and it was the best.
That's so cool.
You stay in a cabin, you have like your cabin leader, and you get to like it was so much fun.
That is
So yeah,
fun.
if you're younger and you're looking for a cool summer job, be a camp counselor. It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
And it's super rewarding.
It's so
Yeah.
much fun, and it's just you get away, you get it's the best.
Yeah.
As a camp counselor, I worked at a Cub Scout camp. Like you go to see all the different 12 sites, and Scott, can we make you s'mores? Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Yes, you
I would
can.
love 12
Yes.
now. Thanks.
And I'd walk around with my guitar, and I'm singing songs or feeding me s'mores. I'm like, I'm getting paid for this.
Love that. That's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, Deathborn, also talking about, he said, thanks for answering.
Yes.
My PA is slightly off center because I have a pronounced phantom, or
Frenum.
Frenum. I don't know why I said phantom.
That's a friend of the evil brother, the
Yeah,
Phantom.
the phantom, the phantom of the opera. Frenum. So I don't know how centered I can get it, but I'll run it by my piercer. I'll consider it. Thank you.
It's not that big of a deal. When I had my apodravia done too, I had like that center frenum that was just too pronounced, so it had to be slightly off to the side. A lot of PAs are done this way, and that's where the apodravia has to go too. You don't want it going through that thick frenum cord. It can be really uncomfortable, and you don't want that bead resting right up against it. It's not good. So most people's are slightly off-centered like that.
Yes.
No one has a perfectly round, symmetrical shape. So so don't worry about that. That's totally normal.
Yep. Angela loves your idea for the moon phase on the flat.
Yes.
There you go. Yep.
That's going to get stolen.
Yes.
Bunny Cakes says, I want a septum, but I attend a college that might be finicky with so many piercings. I have 18, most are ears, 2 are nostril studs, so I hide them fine. I have friends that flipped up their septum immediately at the beginning of healing, and some have issues with the ring raising forward almost upward to the tip of their nose. Do you think I should flip up my septum to hide it while healing, or should I just wear a face mask while healing?
I'm not sure I understand like the flipped
So,
up towards the tip.
I think what they're saying is, you know how like if you pierce
If
a
you
septum,
heal it flipped up.
yeah, I think like if you misplace a septum or use a ring that's too small, it like flips up like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what they're talking
Yeah,
about,
it's-
and it sounds like they're correlating that with flipping the ring up, which we actually recommend healing septums with the ring flipped up if you're
Yeah.
willing to do that.
Yeah, flipped up or down, it shouldn't really make a difference if the septum piercing is placed correctly. So it sounds to me like they may have been pierced a little bit too far forward, like towards the tip of their nose, because then the jewelry will
So
want to
now
flip back.
the biggest issue is if you pierce too low, like this is the bottom of
Could
the
you do
nose.
that on the other side, Scott? I'm sorry. No, just like, yeah,
Oh, sorry.
perfect.
Okay, so when we're looking at this here, like if this is the bottom of the nose, the septum as you go up here does get nice and thin. And this is the area where you should be piercing because it's nice and thin. If you pierce it way too low or too high up, when you put the curvature of the ring, there's too much curve going through there. But when you put a curve of a ring here, it's still virtually straight because how little tissue there is there. So when you go through the thick cartilage above or below, and that's when it really, really hurts, that's when you can't really flip the ring out without causing more bumps and irritations. If it's pierced properly, you should be able to flip it up without having any issues.
Yep. So to me, it sounds more like the issue is the piercing. The problems that your friends are having are more correlated to the issue itself rather than flipping it up. So feel free to flip it up.
Yeah, you should be fine. Sometimes if you have a circular barbell, the ring needs to be opened up a little bit so it's not pinching on the inside, because you can't just buy one and everyone's going to fit in there. So it might need to be adjusted, and if it's uncomfortable when you're wearing it up, go talk to your piercer, because a lot of times we just put a ring opening pliers and we can adjust it just a little bit, and that can make a world of difference for you. Yep.
Agreed. I also love this question and definitely want to chime in. Blue Pencil number 1 asks, here's a question I don't think many people ask. What tips would you give someone with mental health struggles on how to keep up with taking care of their piercings? So I think this goes beyond just piercing, but one of the best sentences I've ever heard, or quotes that I've ever heard, is that anything worth doing is worth doing badly. So, and it was in the context of like depression. It's like, if you can't get up to brush your teeth, try a little bit of mouthwash or just swish some water in your mouth. If you can't like get up to shower, maybe wipe yourself down with a baby wipe. And I would say the same for piercings. If you're having trouble finding the ability to get up and do a full cleaning, even a little cleaning is better than nothing. Maybe wiping them off with a wet paper towel or something along those lines.
Absolutely.
Like this, a can of sterile saline solution by your bed or in your bag. Just spray it down throughout the day, or not throughout the day, but even once a day is enough. I mean, realistically, healing piercings, it is better. Like, less is more in the case of healing a piercing.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Less is more.
You can't heal this by doing nothing.
Yeah, you can heal them. But I literally don't use saline on my piercings. I just wash my face like normal. I am in my opinion, a clean person. Yeah, I shower daily. So it's just one of those things where, yes, you're welcome. And we're deodorant too?
I usually do like every 4 or 5 days,
Yeah. Yep. Saline solution.
So like what Kelsey's saying is like, yeah, less is more. The big thing is the wound wash spray or the sterile saline is preventing problems. So that means you don't pull crusties inside. So if you're not moving your jewelry, not that big of a deal.
Right.
Number 2, okay, if you have those mental health issues, sometimes piercings help that. It's going to make you feel more confident on yourself. You're going to feel better about yourself, and you're more likely to clean your piercing and be the better person, or be the person you want to be.
Because it's going to be a new thing that you're super happy about that maybe you've wanted for a long time. And I definitely say, like, take the jump and do it. If it's going to be something that's going to boost your mood, your confidence, and
it's everything.
The ability to live your daily life. Sometimes a piercing can do that.
Piercings push shoulders back. I can't tell you how many times it could be a nostril, septum, nipple, navel. You look in the mirror and people are like, just that alone, you can see the confidence boost. And sometimes that's all we need.
The piercing glow.
Yeah, the piercing glow.
Be
proud of yourself. Get what you love. Be the person you want to be, and you're going to be a better person because of it.
Yeah.
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 Agreed.
Yep. Thanks for asking that. I really, really appreciate that. And
question.
Yeah, do it. It's worth it.
Yes, agreed.
And if you don't like it, you take it out. Whatever.
It
A
helps.
couple bucks down the drain.
For sure. But
McDonald's
At least you
Happy Meals.
experienced
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, do your best. Even if your best isn't 100%. If your best is 10% for that day.
And the thing is that wound wash spray, you just have to buy it once, and all you do is squirt, squirt, done. It's so much easier than like the wipe. Instead of like taking a shower, you wipe yourself down. This is faster than all that. This is faster than brushing your teeth. This is faster than combing your hair. It shouldn't take that long. So yeah, it's an easy thing to do to make yourself feel way better.
Awesome. Thank you guys for that. Deathborn chiming in again said, sorry, just catching up with the stream. Kelsey said the giche has been troubling because one ball of the barbell was getting sucked into the fistula. But I do love my new giche. So far, so good now.
Gucci.
The gooch.
Nice.
Good one.
If the beads getting sucked in, I need bigger beads.
Maybe
longer
somewhat
bar.
of a longer bar, bigger beads.
How
Bigger
old is
beads
that piercing?
usually. I'm not sure.
It's not like a week old or something.
No.
Do a giche last week. Okay.
No, I want to
Yeah.
say a
I think he
couple
said
of months. Yeah, a couple
Okay.
of months old.
Okay. Maybe you need bigger beads. Maybe you need a slightly longer bar. But generally, like, the bead shouldn't get pulled in too much.
No.
So
Not enough to like have to pop
Yeah.
it out. So
time to stretch up that guiche.
I'm just stretch it up
yes.
a little bit.
Body Saba 3 asks, hello, Scott. Love your videos. Very informative. Quick question.
Sure.
I wear some stainless steel studs in my ear, and when I take them out, the piercing is reddish, the area around the piercing is reddish. It's healed from 5 years ago. Why is this happening?
Could just be the color of your scar tissue. You know, what are the piercings?
So I think they're just
They're
earlobe
earlobes with
piercings.
stainless
So
steel.
my 2 cents on this, and I feel like I always find when everything is fine and then something pops up, it usually has to do with the jewelry. So I would inspect the jewelry for nicks, make sure the polish is still good on that. Because a lot of times it depends on the quality of the stainless steel, but over time, that ring slowly gets worn. And if it's not if it's not super well polished, then there can be little nicks in there that are causing essentially like micro wounds inside of the ear. And I usually find that's
So two other things. You're absolutely right. It could be totally the metal. The biggest issue I see with earlobes all the time is people don't wear them all the time. They put them in once a week on the weekend when they go out.
Yeah.
So they're stretching their ear, and by the time they take it out, it hasn't healed from the stretch, so hence the redness.
Yep.
Some people take them out every night to sleep because they're uncomfortable to sleep in. Get some proper jewelry where they have flat backs in the back instead of the butterfly backs or whatever you might be wearing. And if you can wear jewelry all the time, a lot of times that's the answer. But yeah, I know the holes won't close, but they shrink and you have to keep restretching them to put them in, and that's enough to keep them upset. It could be that you're not wearing jewelry. It could be that you're wearing your jewelry way too long and you're not taking them out and cleaning them. So if a bunch of gunk and hair products getting stuck inside there, that could be why it's getting red and irritated too. So there's 3 options there. It's wearing the jewelry too short of a time, wearing it too long and not cleaning it, or improper metals or improper jewelry.
awesome.
Yes.
That about summarizes it.
Yes.
Anai asks, can you wear a ring, CBR, in a healed floating navel, or is it not recommended because of the floating placement?
I mean, I think a floating navel would do great with a ring in it because of the depth on the inside, you know. I mean, not right off the bat, but like once it's fully healed, I feel like the pull into the depth of the navel would make the ring fit on the navel pretty snug.
Now, on the contrary, of the floating navels I've done, they seem to be deeper than a normal navel because it's going to the inside, which means the ring size is going to have to be much larger than what most people would want.
Okay.
I think the ring would kind of point down, but it's not going to be a nice little snug ring. You're going to have a lot showing because you need to have 2/3 of the ring showing and 1/3 inside.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing a 1/2 inch diameter, that
depends
means
on the depth then.
you're wearing a 9/16 ring or maybe 5/8 inch
Yeah,
ring.
that's true.
So it depends on the depth,
Yeah, it depends on the depth.
but it's a possibility.
For sure.
Because I mean, I could imagine
what I'm
like
talking
wearing
about.
like little teeny rings in a healed navel would
But
work
that's a
way
normal
better.
navel, that's not a
that's a
floating
normal
navel,
navel.
so,
Yeah. So yeah, no,
I
you're
saw her belly button.
I actually don't have a floating navel, but you got it in there deep. It's like almost a floating
It's a
navel.
borderline floating navel.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it in there nice and deep so you could heal a hunky piece.
Yeah, well, I plan to wear a captive in it eventually.
perfect.
I want to stretch it big and have like a giant captive in there.
Giant, solid
Like,
gold captive.
I don't know because I mean I'm planning on like
sick.
0. Yeah,
Yes.
so like, at least like 0-ish gauge for right now, and that would be a lot of gold.
It would
So
be.
I would be willing to bet it would reject within a month.
yeah,
You think so?
The weight of a
weight of
0
it?
gauge
Yeah, you're
ring
right.
in a navel, you might as well be hanging a brick off that thing.
Yeah, it's
That'd
true.
be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It'd be so cool.
We're just gonna like time lapse this thing reject right out of his belly button.
I want it so badly though, but I do plan on stretching it, and I would like to wear a captive at some point. So
You're gonna have a tough time finding because you're gonna need titanium because you don't want to do niobium because
Hey, you
of
want
the
to be
weight
nice and light.
Yeah.
yes. I think Leroy. I think I bet Leroy makes them.
And I know they make them with those. I always want to say neoprene or whatever that
Neoprene.
The Bobby.
neoprene
The boba.
beads, so yeah.
The boba balls.
Yeah, the little
The
boba balls.
squishy ones. I call them bobas. The
You're
boba
not
balls.
supposed to eat those, Kelsey.
Yeah, they look edible.
They do. The person with the Greek alphabet name.
Happy piercing person.
Yes. Sorry again. They said glad to hear that. They were talking about the Dalia piercings.
Yes.
And the salivary glands. On that same note, do you think Dalia piercings carry the most social stigma regarding facial piercings due to how rare and unusual they seem?
I feel like they carry a stigma because of maybe the healing process of them
I think a rhino's way more.
Yeah, rhino is.
A curved barbell through the tip of the nose is a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten a ton of attention from the mantis.
Yeah.
Stretched
the
lip
mantis
piercings, like
piercings.
if you had a big plug in the bottom lip, I think that's going to be more.
Yeah.
So it's at
So-
the top. It's up there, but it's not at the top of the list.
Yeah, Dahlias aren't on like the top of the list of like bizarre piercings or something that like would have like a stigma wrapped around them. I mean, they do just because they are like a cheek piercing in general, but yeah.
If it was 1995, you wouldn't be able to go anywhere without anyone being able to say something about it.
That is true. That
And
is true.
that is not the case today. People have cool piercing.
Yeah, but we did live through the metalcore scene of the 2010s,
Yeah.
and I feel like every
Weird
person in every person in that scene had their cheeks pierced at some point.
Yeah.
I wanted them.
One of the few I've never had. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've had so many cheek skewers. You know, if I'm doing energy pulls and then put rods through my cheeks, and that happens all the time.
I want to do that so bad.
I'll totally do that to you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Sweet.
hook,
Yeah, let's
hook,
do it.
line, and sinker.
Yeah, I want to
was
do another
genius.
energy pool. That was crazy.
It was so much fun.
It's like I've been thinking about it so much.
We got to get you guys some pictures. If you guys don't mind, you have to send me some pictures.
Yeah,
so we
I'll
can-
send it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I think
I'll
Kelsey
show you
has
some
them.
of the fun ones. Yeah. God, we had such a good time in the desert.
Cool. So
I
we've
wish
got-
I had better shoes on.
Me
I would
too.
have dragged y'all across that desert.
Dude, I got these running
It's
shoes
on next time, Scott.
I'm wearing boots.
It's on. I'm wearing hiking shoes. Some cleats.
Cool. So we got about 15 minutes, so I'm going to try and speed run us through these last ones. Clive Newman asks, am I at 61 too old to have a PA?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, do that shit.
Yeah.
Do that shit.
That's what all the cool kids are doing, man.
Yeah. If I had one, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I know you would.
I would. I would have so much done. I'd have the double dido. I'd have the PA. I'd have maybe a couple frenums.
I love the idea of it, but
Scrotums,
just
fadas.
Yeah, the
How many
scrotal
giches?
piercings. Maybe
least
2,
10.
a double.
there you go.
Yeah.
Luna asks, could you give a list of the most difficult ear piercings to heal? And Scott, I think you have a whole video dedicated to that, right?
Cool.
I think it is the top 5 most difficult ear piercings to heal, but definitely snug's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2 is going to be an orbital. I would definitely put a snug more difficult to heal up than an orbital. No, number 1 most difficult is going to be an orbital called a UFO. These things are a pain in the butt to do. They're a pain in the butt to heal. But if you ever find one healed, it's like pat that person on the back because that's amazing. Can
like
you pull up
seeing
UFO
Jesus.
piercing for me, buddy?
Say it again.
UFO piercing.
Sure.
I've done several of these. They're not easy to do, but they look so cool. You know what I'm talking about, UFO? Mm-mm. It's a forward
I might when I
helix to
actually
rook
see.
combo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I'll also toss just any industrial in there.
Yeah, industrials
Yeah.
can be kind of a pain in the butt, but you see how these go through weird angles, and it's just, it's so hard to do, but they look so good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So good.
But-
As far as other European, flats are fairly easy to heal, but you have to downsize it.
Yep.
If you don't downsize it, they're nothing but problems. Mm-hmm. And it's, so 3 weeks to about 2 months in that window. Once you have it short enough,
Yeah.
get it downsized because those things they drop and change angles like that.
Awesome. Yep. I'm going to keep us going.
Cool.
We'll do this one quick. Also from Luna, which are the less uncomfortable and easy female genital piercings to heal?
VCH. VCH was super quick and easy. Within like the first week, you feel like you've had it forever. Outer labias. I had 4 outer labia piercings, and they were a little more on the spicy side to get pierced, but healing within the first like 3 to 6 weeks, I was able to downsize, and yeah, they were.
I have not
awesome.
had that kind of luck with outer
No?
labia piercings. A lot of times I say expect 4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months.
It's back and forth. It
Yeah.
depends on.
I'm
your
sorry,
guy.
and not 3 to 6. It was like 6 to 8 weeks ish. Around like
Yeah.
the 3-month mark, I was able to downsize, and the Christina was probably the more difficult. It takes forever to heal. It seems like
But yeah,
inner labia is pretty simple too, depending
Yeah.
on anatomy and the jewelry
I would
that
say
you get
inner
in.
labia and VCH are the easiest ones.
Super simple.
Yep.
Awesome. Nick Valls says, if you're interested in a remote editor, I'm available. Nick, actually send an email to piercingwithscott@gmail.com with ideally with a portfolio or some videos you've edited.
Information.
Would love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be so cool to keep in the community here.
Yes, it would.
So much better.
Angela says, I think it's so fun to be in a shop, or I think it's so much fun to be in a shop like yours when people are passionate about their work, especially when they work on people. And I can tell that you all are. Thank you very much. Yes. It is awesome. I can attest that this shop is rad.
Yes.
They are rad.
Best decision I ever made in my life was take the leap of faith and leave where I was thinking I wasn't going to know what was going to happen with my life. And I saw Scott was hiring and I was like, you know what? I was on the verge of just giving up on piercing. I wanted to quit piercing so bad. I lost so much love and just everything for it. And then, saw Scott was hiring and I was I'm just going to give it a try. And honestly, one of the best things I ever did in my life.
Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like I've been like reapprenticed, you know, like I'm like a born again piercer after working with Scott. Cause like he noticed everything that I was taught that was so wrong and was like, let's fix this. So I'm super grateful.
Well, the building blocks were already there. It was just a couple little tiny bad habits and it wasn't your fault. It's the way you were trained.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And
I look at Scott as my all-time mentor. So. I do. I really do.
Thank you. Yeah, we love having you. And we're so lucky to have Nova on board. And if you find a shop that's passionate like the way we are, you're going to have a way better experience.
Yes.
Because we care. It's not just about the money.
No.
Granted, we have to pay our bills, but it's about the piercing. We love piercings.
Yes.
And you guys do too because you're here.
Yeah.
So many weeks in a row asking some of the best questions in the world. So it's a platonic relationship.
This is great. Love this.
Yes.
We love you guys so much.
We do.
I feel like I'm going to cry.
All you.
Cheers.
No crying on the station here.
Another sappy one, Blue Pencil, who was asking about taking care of your piercings while dealing with mental health issues, just said, thank you guys so much. Y'all are so supportive and wholesome. I appreciate it. So
glad to help. I mean, there's a lot of bad information out there, and it's not fair.
A lot of bad piercers too that'll be like, yeah.
I have no time for rock star piercers.
No.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, you know who I am. You know who I am. I just call myself, I'm a rock star piercer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm a very humble piercer. I've been doing this a long time, but people who think they're better than everyone else and like there's no other way, get out of the industry. You're ruining it for the rest of us. It's not about you. It's about the customer.
Absolutely. I love this name. An egg asks.
An egg.
How do you say that?
One single egg.
Okay,
like
an
egg.
An egg.
Asks, when are you for certain that it's best to retire a piercing? My brow piercing will not heal for over a year now with correct placement and initial jewelry.
I mean, if it's a year now and it still isn't healed, usually around 3 to 6 months, these guys are
done. So
done and healed and ready to go. So I would maybe retire it before it gets any worse and you have extensive scarring.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of problems you're having. I mean, if you're having problems because you're wearing a helmet, headbands, your hair products getting in there, all these things are factors. Makeup.
Anything.
Yeah. If you have a dog that constantly bumps you in the forehead and headbutts you, it's little things. You got to look at the big picture. And if those things are not getting any better and it's not changing, just do a different
Speaking of dogs, that is one thing that a lot of people don't really keep into consideration is if your pets sleep with you,
for sure.
Animal dander is extremely bad for body piercings. Your dogs sleep with you, your cats sleep with you. Sometimes people are healing an ear. Cats are one of the filthiest things on the planet. We don't give them baths regularly. Yes, they clean themselves, but they literally scoop in their poop and pee box all day, every day, and then they're sleeping on your pillow with you with your fresh ear piercing. That is so gross.
Sometimes you don't think
really
about
bad for your piercing.
Yeah.
We don't think about that stuff, but it's a factor.
We love our pets.
We love our
They
pets.
are part
My
of our
doggies
family.
sleep all around me.
But sleep on the floor of the time. The pets, not you. The pets, not you.
Wash your bedding at least. I would say once a week,
regularly.
once every couple of days. Yes, very regularly. It's super important.
Yep.
Little things.
Mm-hmm.
NN says, super happy to finally catch a live. Can't wait to see you soon. How do conches typically heal with over-the-ear headphones? I've tried to feel if the cup touches the back of my ear, but I can't tell. Headphones are a must for me, so I'm willing to opt out of a conch.
This is currently resting on my conch piercing. I feel like if I move it far enough back, it doesn't, but
for the most part, it works.
It doesn't cup the ear.
It depends on your over the ear. If they're ones that rest on the ear and it's not like the actual cup ones, if it's resting on the ear and it hurts, you're doing damage. Mm-hmm. So listen to your body. If you feel it being twisted or, and you wear it for 3 days and it's like, oh, my conch is extra sore, try without the headphones for a couple days and see if that makes a difference. You might need to get different headphones. It's really hard to say, but generally it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe a doff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then no earbuds.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Make a choice, right?
Yep.
Stephen Whitmer says, good afternoon to the three of you, Scott. It was another great session on Sunday. I really enjoyed you recalling my existing piercings as soon as I entered the shop.
Yeah.
The 3 new
Yes.
piercings, stretch, and jewelry change are doing great. See you in a few months. We were just talking about you.
Yes, we were. You'll see it a little earlier in the chat. So congratulations. Hopefully you didn't bleed too much.
Yes.
I know you were bleeding a little bit when you left.
Yep.
Stuck ya.
Luna de Blue says, I was in Las Vegas, couldn't get to your shop because you weren't piercing
I'm sorry.
from those days. I'm out of town, but if I'm in town in the future, I'd love to get pierced by you, or I'd love for you to let me know if I have a sweet spot for the septum.
Yeah.
So just make sure to, the next time you come into town, make sure to give us a bigger heads up. Usually we can organize stuff, but we do need a little bit of a heads up.
If you book
So-
it at least a couple days in advance, you generally get what you need. So
Yep. Yeah, I think this was on a day where you typically aren't piercing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. But yeah, give us like a week or two heads up, and we should be able to organize something. So, we just got another $10 donation
Thank you.
thank you.
from Mikey B. I'm having a real rough time with my rook. Bumps on the top and the underside. It's super sensitive on the underside. Been in about 1.5 years. I don't fiddle with it or touch it. Any tips or just a rough heal? 1.5 years for a rook is a long time.
I'm going to say check the jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah, check the jewelry.
Sometimes when you screw the bead might not go all the way into the bottom. And if there's that little tiny gap between the bar and if it's staying irritated on the bottom, that could be it. It could be the scratch, nick, ding on there. If you have steel jewelry, change to titanium. If it's going to work, it's going to happen almost right away and you're going to see them healed up. It's amazing how fast changing the metal style can help up. Also depends, like earphones, things that are like pressed up against your ear. Do you sleep on that side? What are you doing to clean it?
Yeah, I was going to say
All
aftercare.
factors.
Yeah,
That's all part of it.
it's tough. That's a long time though. It
I would-
shouldn't be quite that long.
Yeah, I would. This is another case where I would say it might be a good idea to get a second opinion from
Yeah.
another piercer. Make sure to do your research. A good indicator, not a foolproof indicator, but a good indicator is to search for a shop that sells implant grade titanium. That usually means that they're a slight step above the rest, at least as far as jewelry goes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We got about 5 minutes, so I'm gonna
Speed
pick a couple.
round.
Speed round.
It never is a speed round.
Cool. I'm gonna try to get to people that haven't asked questions.
Cool.
That haven't asked questions. Faith is Key asks, "Hi, when can I downsize my tongue piercing? It's been in a week on Saturday, and the long bar is stressing my mouth."
I generally say 2 weeks unless you're having major problems. You might still be swollen after a week. So if it seems like you have that little bubble, you need to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, it's a rough week or two. Yeah, that's what
Yep.
tongue piercings do. So I would try to give it another week if you can.
Yes, agreed. Let's see. RVSS, I'm going to take your second question. What is the smallest gauge, shortest belly button piercing you've seen? I've seen ones after pregnancy that are like 5 millimeters and 18 gauge. Is it even okay to wear something that small in an old piercing, or is that bad?
You need.
I mean, you
some-
can, but I don't really recommend it. I would definitely maybe get it re-pierced, but
5 millimeter. The thing is like if
Just
it's only
really
5
thin
millimeters,
tissue.
sometimes like that hole's not going to close up, and it's tough to put something behind it because it's just going to reject right back out to that side. So you might have to stay to that size.
5 millimeters is 7/32, by the way.
yeah.
So
No, it's not even worth
Well,
it
if
to wear
was-
anything.
If it was pierced deeper originally, it's going to reject right to that spot again. So you can try it if you want, but I'm willing to bet it's probably not going to work. Yeah, there's not much you can really do. It's kind of unfortunately not the best answer I can give. So
yes.
yeah, but sometimes you do need to start thinner and stretch yourself back up to the original size if it doesn't fit. But 5 millimeters, 7/32.
Yeah. I would maybe just get it re-pierced.
Isn't that a quarter inch?
Oh, hold on, I think we lost audio. Hello?
It's still too small.
Hold on, we lost audio. It's still not back.
No audio. We can say whatever we want. They can't hear a word we're saying. Talk all the bad you want about it
careful.
right now. But yeah.
I actually don't know exactly what. Oh, there we go. It's back.
We
We
back?
got audio.
Yay!
Yep. I still don't know what's causing that either. I think it has to do with it's the same issue with the buffering and the bit rate. We're trying to figure it out. We've set everything as they said it to, but it just doesn't seem to be working.
I think we have electronic gnomes here that go around in the middle of the night. I'll set
I'm
some traps tonight.
pretty well convinced that is the case. I used to always say that there are like fairies that go into my pocket and tangle my
Ooh,
headphones.
fairies are even worse than gnomes.
Yes.
Agreed. Hey Jessica, glad you got to catch this stream. Mina asks, how much harder is it to heal nipple piercings in large breasts? I've wanted to get mine done for over a year now, but I'm so nervous about the healing process. I'm a G cup. So glad I caught the live today.
So for larger breasted women, I would definitely recommend some sort of support. Instead of just, majority of the time, I usually tell people the least amount of support, the better. You definitely don't want anything that's pushing too hard up against them, because you can actually force like the beads to push against the breast tissue, then acting like a cheese cutter effect and like pushing
Correct.
out. So the least amount of like pressure on the piercings, the better. But for larger breasted women, I do want you to have some sort of support, because if you let them just go naturally and they hang down a little bit, like a lot of the blood and everything is going to flow to that area, causing excess swelling, excess blood flow.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Yeah. So I've actually seen it a lot. And then I actually had a client come in recently that needed longer bars put in, and she's like, I'm not wearing bras or anything. And I was like, well, who told you not to wear a bra? I told you light support.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have them supported a little bit. Otherwise, like blood flow is going to rush to that area. And she was so swollen. I had to put like 1.25 inches, and like, oh my goodness, they were not okay.
So-
Hopefully they're doing a lot better now. But with that being said, yes, larger breasted women, definitely some sort of support, keeping them level with your heart as best as you possibly can. So it definitely eliminates
The issue
excess swelling.
I've seen with larger breasts is a lot of times the nipple's a lot smaller and more flat and flush against the breast, which means there's not a ridge, so the chance of rejection is a little higher. If your nipple naturally protrudes, you should be okay. But that's the one issue I've seen on large breasts is the nipple is flat, and it's like trying to do a surface piercing, and the rejection rate can go up. So, so that's kind of the issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for coming to the live stream and asking so many questions. We appreciate you guys so much.
Cheers to all of you. We love
Cheers,
every one of you.
everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining
And,
today.
yeah, you know how this goes here. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. See you all in the next video.
Bye.